libertarian conservative ideology. We put the brakes on the media spin by destroying the lies, dismantling the narratives, and bringing you the stone cold hard truth. Every weekend on MoJo 50. Join me, Adrian Slade, for a raging hour-long discussion, deconstructing the headlines and delivering you the entire full story. Only on MoJo 50. Live free.
Former Democratic National Committee member told Politico on Monday that he will become national senior advisor to the Draft Beto campaign. That sounds like a horrible beer, probably a Pilsner.
The Defenders with Stephen Airy, tonight at 9.
MoJo 50.
Dating today with all the crazies out there has to be nuts.
Yes, it really would. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a place you could go to find people who think like you do?
Like me, like libertarians and conservatives?
Right?
There is. WeThePeople.dating.
Amazing. What a genius idea. This is a site that you can go to if you're single and you are looking for somebody who you know you're going to think the same way, as for, from a political freedom standpoint. If you want to date the right person for you, you'll find them in one place. WeThePeople.dating.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
Ship has landed.
Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. The mighty MoJo 50.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Everything you say.
Everything that guy just says bullshit.
Is bullshit. Bullshit is everywhere.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Oh, we saw it coming. I'm telling you, from the get-go, Jesse Smollett, he's now in custody, accused of faking the attack. But let us not forget the emotional, tear-filled interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America.
It's like, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that?
Because it was bullshit. That's why.
It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
Wow. How things look a lot different through the lens of a couple of weeks.
It'll look different in prison in a few weeks.
He continued.
What happened that night, Jesse?
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's like my uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up. And then we got back to the apartment. There was no food. And so I went out to Walgreens thinking that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke. Walgreens was closed. So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm gonna run to Subway, which was across the street, and I'm gonna get a salad. Do you want?
Why did he decide to call then to find out if somebody wanted something?
So last night, just to let you know, I went to a Subway in Fort Worth, and I walked in, and I almost said, I didn't have the balls to follow through with it, but I walked in and I almost said, hey, give me a foot-long Jesse Smollett on lie. But the problem was there was like 5 black guys in there, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Probably smart.
One thing. I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager, thinking that he was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other clients. And I said, yo, call me when you can. He called me immediately. And while he was on the phone, I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire.
Because that's how people would yell at him, of course.
I don't answer to Empire.
In his defense, Empire is actually a Chicago thing, not the show, but as a carpet company. All of us grew up with the jingle. 588 2300. So
Empire.
How do you
today.
know people, exactly?
Yeah.
So how do we know we weren't yelling that?
Maybe they just needed carpet.
My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker.
The attacker. Interesting choice of word.
His story's going to be going all over the
masked.
place.
And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face.
What does that even mean?
Nothing. It is the dumbest phrase that they could possibly have thought of. This is MAGA country. Nobody says that.
And nobody says that out there. I have to be very careful telling people that I'm a conservative out there because they can't stand conservatives.
So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling.
Hear
you know,
him get street
icy.
right there?
Oh,
he
yeah.
got street. I punched his ass back.
His ass back. Then we started tussling.
And we ended up tussling by the stairs.
They tickled each other, gave each other butterfly kisses, and something may have slipped into somebody at one point in time.
Wasn't that a movie he was in, Tussling by the Stairs?
Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And
dude could take some punches and some kicks, though. You got to give him credit for that. I mean, he got two dudes beating up on him. He's going down.
They're beating up on him or beating off on him?
He's going down. And
yeah, he was going down.
He's got all this happening, and then he realizes.
Then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was.
Okay, so the phone, so he was texting wait a second, didn't he say he was on the phone to his manager?
Yeah, Chicago criminals are actually brilliant people because Chicago's got like a 14% violent crime solve rate, which means the criminals get away with stuff all the time.
Right.
So I'm thinking that, you know what, if I'm a real criminal in Chicago, I'm taking your phone, I'm beating you unconscious. They like to do the head stomp a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Crushes them.
Yeah.
Sitting there, and my manager was still on the phone.
So he was talking to his manager and decides to put the phone in his pocket.
Jesse, are you still there?
Right.
Jesse, I'm trying to see if you're okay.
So I picked up the phone and I said, Brandon, and he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped. And then I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
You didn't
because
see?
it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all
It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds.
Let me just tell you, in 30 seconds, those guys they got away with a lot. Kicking and punching and putting the bleach, the unknown substance.
I'm assuming in your life at one point in time, you have gotten in an altercation with people. All of us have. To with precision, put a noose around someone's head like that seamlessly, that's not possible.
Yeah. No.
Honestly, I can't tell you honestly.
No, you can't tell us honestly anything.
I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
Did you get any kind?
Okay, let's think about that. I started screaming, there's an effing rope around my neck. I'm not going to tear it off.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
First thing I do is get the damn thing off from around my neck.
Or you pull a David Carradine and keep it on.
Right. I mean, depending upon what my next move was going to be. But no, he goes home, and the other guy decides,
Kind of description of the attack.
I gave a body description, and because I saw this, right here or whatever.
And he's referring to the eye slits in the ski mask.
But I didn't see. I can't tell you what color their eyes were. I can't tell you, and I did not see anything except the second person I saw running away, and the first person, I saw his stature.
Saw his stature. I wanted to touch his stature.
Your description as best as I could. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. People can wear ski masks and nobody's going to question that.
The police have gone through a lot of video and they were able to capture an image of two people of interest. Have you seen that image and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
I do.
What is it about their size, or why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Or their girth?
I was there.
I was there.
For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them.
I'm gonna give
of course not, because I knew them.
He's a good actor. I'm going to give it to him. He's a good actor.
I have no doubt in my mind that that's them because, I've worked with them. I knew them. Oh, yeah, I paid them. I left that part out.
Well, in his defense, isn't that lifestyle a lot of, what do they call it, down low and dark closets and alleys and things? And I'm sure, not to judge, but throughout the course of his life, he has become very accustomed to identifying certain people with low-light conditions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He went on.
Never did.
Why did you hesitate to want to call the police?
There's a level of pride there. We live in a society where, as a gay man, you are considered somehow to be weak.
He's
And I'm
getting
not
choked
weak.
up, isn't he, right now?
Yes,
this is where the Oscar.
I'm not weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak. So, I mean, I can accept that there was pride there. There's also privacy. You know, at the end of the day,
He's wiping tears from his face.
look what has happened. You know,
Was he wiping
look
off
what has
that night?
happened. So, I'm glad that Frank called the police. I'm glad.
And it took 45 minutes for him to call said police, during which time he stood there with the rope around his neck.
And the sandwich in his hands, walking back to his apartment.
He wasn't going to take that rope off. He wasn't going to call the cops, according to him. He didn't wait until he got home, and his manager, his choreographer, convinced him to call the cops. But during this whole time, neither one of them decided to remove the rope from around his neck. So, just to be clear, let's jump in the time machine to the days of yesteryear and go back in time at least a couple of weeks to one Doc Thompson, who had this to say.
Having said all of that, I think it's bravo, Sierra. It's too perfect. It's too fantastic. It's too uncorroborated with several sensational pieces that would be perfect for people on the left, and they've already done it to pick up and run with, just like some Catholic kid giving some Native American elder veteran the business. Right?
Yeah. So, and it's
uncorroborated.
Boy who cried wolf.
And they yell, this is MAGA country.
Right.
Can that happen? Sure. Has that happened? Maybe. Is it likely that someone's going to do that? All of these pieces. This is Stephen Paddock. There are too many pieces that are too detailed, with others not being detailed enough. What kind of car were they in? Where did they escape to? What were they wearing? Who are they? There's no video cameras?
No, there's video of him apparently in like a Starbucks or a convenience store prior to, but
and
no
there's
cameras.
No cameras.
No cameras outside that caught the attack, according to the police.
No cameras on any of the buildings nearby.
No.
Not the ATM machine. Nobody walked by. No traffic cams that show what car the kids were driving. Or guys, gals, whatever they were.
Mm-hmm.
None.
No.
Not one. And did he give a description specific? That guy was wearing a goose down jacket and that one had hip boots?
Nope.
Were they white? Were they black? So you don't know anything about the alleged assailants, right?
Right, yeah. Apparently
nothing.
Not.
You don't have them on camera. There is not one shred of proof this happened other than him being beat up. His physical injuries, that and his description.
And that is it.
So they bumped Doc off because he knew he was right.
I'm beginning to believe that. So today, in case you missed it, one Jussie Smollett, whose real name, by the way, is Justin Smollett, is charged with one count of felony disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. They charged him last night. He is now in custody. The Cook County State's Attorney Office approved the Class 4 felony charges against him for falsifying said report. The detectives, they said they'll make contact with his legal team. This was last night. They now have him in custody. So what happens, by the way, and speaking of cameras, there is now footage of the two brothers inside a beauty supply store. Hey, Isaac, can you take my screen full here?
There's not for nothing on this. Chicago Police Department did an outstanding job with their investigation.
Absolutely. And here are the two brothers purchasing said ski masks and other various accoutrements for for something that they were doing. Who's to say?
To take this from two shadowy figures in that time frame. And this shows the brilliance of law enforcement. This is what people have to understand. Chicago police went through such a painstaking process to validate the falseness of his story.
Oh, yeah.
And what's going to happen now is it's going to be a slap in the face to police and those who follow the law when the state's attorneys offer a plea deal. This gets brushed under the rug. He gets slapped on the hand. Nothing happens. And there is no accountability. All that amazing police work because you know damn well they could not afford to have one fact out of place on this.
No.
So they're going to get insulted. That's going to be a big FU to CPD.
Add all of this, going back to June 2015, when the gay pizza shop owner was robbed, assaulted, and mutilated by himself. Rick Jones in Utah. He said he experienced a series of anti-gay assaults at his business and his home. Jones told CNN someone knocked him out, tried to force bleach down his throat. What is it with bleach and these attacks?
It makes the dirty feeling go away after you're done shaming yourself.
They tried to force bleach down his throat and had carved "Die Fag" on his arms. He woke up from the encounter to find he had been robbed. His family's home was also vandalized with anti-gay spray paint. I didn't know there was such a thing as anti-gay spray paint, but hey. After an investigation, he admitted to police he'd committed all the criminal acts himself.
No, it's a pattern because from 2012, there was a lesbian who faked a brutal hate attack on herself, including carving a cross on her own chest. So I want to know where all the conservatives are who are alleging fake crimes. Oh, wait, they're too busy working and contributing to society.
In April 2014, a Muslim man kills his wife, sets her up her murder as an Islamophobic crime. In 2015, a Muslim cleric's suspicious soda tale. The cleric Tahira Ahmed wrote on Facebook that she had been subject to Islamophobia from a United Airlines attendant who wouldn't give her a full can of unopened soda. The story went viral. The media took note to reporting on the whole thing as if it were gospel. Turns out it was a misunderstanding. Flight attendant in question was forced out of the company a few days later. Of course, what happened then? Not to mention the fact the accounts from other passengers gave a very different version of what happened. And then, of course, the media didn't correct it. In 2013, a gay server received a hate note on his receipt. Turns out he wrote that himself.
I remember that one.
2013 Oberlin KKK hoax. That was at Oberlin University when they spray painted the doors, I believe. It goes on, and you would think by now these people would realize this doesn't work.
But where's the conservatives doing this, and then where's the accountability? Because for anyone saying that Jussie Smollett did not cause damage to anyone with his actions, and this is not, I mean, CPD didn't pick him up because this wasn't a violent crime. You get Roger Stone, you're going to kick in his door.
Oh, yeah.
With a white-collar crime, at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning with armed cops.
And they had boats in the river in case he tried to make a water escape.
But here's the problem with this Jussie Smollett thing is, no, the Ocasio-Cortez, Smollett, Blasey Ford, all these people now have Nathan Phillips have created a narrative that morons out there, simpletons believe. People will believe, looking at you, looking at me. Yesterday you wear your MAGA hat. God forbid you go to Chicago. Oh my God, let's hate on him.
And I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for the guy.
Here's the deal, but do you support at least the president who's in office doing well for the country?
Yes, doing well for the country. I did not agree, and I don't agree with some of the things this president is doing. I didn't agree with a lot of the things the last president was doing.
But you don't want to see him fail, do you?
If I don't agree with what he's doing, I want to see him fail in his policies.
I'll rephrase that. You don't want to see the country fail.
Correct.
Thank you.
The man, yes. If I don't agree with the direction he's taking the country, I hope that he fails in his. I am a big Trump supporter. I think Trump is going to go down as one of the most successful presidents of all time. And I said this to Stu at the other place before just as he got elected. And I don't even know what I based that on. I just had a feeling. Alyssa Milano, her tweet when she found out about all of this. If that man staged his own attack, he is wrong in so many ways. No one could be that hurtful to stage this, right? To F with all of us by playing into our weaknesses and make it even harder for victims to come forward. No one should choose to be that hurtful, right? Right? Yes, you're right. Why you couldn't see this from the beginning is beyond logic.
These people don't have logic. There was a Twitter page, Woke Linda. I hate that woke thing. And this is their mentality of this. And her tweet was retweeted probably 1,000 times. I don't care if he lied. We still need to believe him. This was a modern-day lynching, and it doesn't matter if he made it up or not.
What?
He's such a victim. He had to pretend to be one just to prove it.
He is a victim. How? He's on a successful television show making very good money.
No, don't you understand that racism is alive and well today?
There are racists alive today. Absolutely.
I actually think there's bias and there's bigotry, but I will wager my money on the fact that nary a person out there thinks their race is superior to someone else's. That's the definition of racism.
I think those people exist, and I also think
very few
on both sides. I think on many sides, and I'm not saying it's white to black. It's black to white. It is yellow to white. It is there will always be people who think that they are better than somebody else.
I'm
whatever reason.
Bigot. I'm a bigot, and I'll admit it. I have my biases. I have my bigotry. My S doesn't stink. I'm not better than anybody else, and it just amazes me that how these people assume that's still going on.
Cory Booker, remember
I love him.
when he tweeted, "The vicious attack on actor Jussie Smollett was an attempted modern-day lynching. I'm glad he's safe." He was the entire time, just by the way. To those in Congress who don't feel the urgency to pass our anti-lynching bill designating lynching as a federal hate crime, I urge you to pay attention. There's only one little problem there.
What's the problem?
Well, the bill, and the modern-day bill, the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act of 2018, originally introduced in June by Booker, Kamala Harris, and Tim Scott, passed by the Senate Judiciary Committee, passed through the Senate by unanimous consent December 19th. You see, it's not the first anti-lynching bill. The Dyer anti-lynching bill.
I'm kind of blown away with that right now.
First introduced in 1918 by someone, Leonidas C. Dyer. He was a Republican.
This is 300, or this is Sparta, Leonidas?
This is 100 years ago in St. Louis. It was introduced in the House of Representatives as H.R. 1279, intended to establish lynching as a federal crime, reintroduced in subsequent sessions of Congress and passed by the House of Representatives on January 26, 1922. But its passage was halted in the Senate by a filibuster of Southern Democrats.
Okay.
So yes, Mr. Booker, it would have been nice if in 1922 the Democrats had stood aside and let lynching become a federal crime.
Am I not following it correctly? Are you saying that still was not, like, anti-lynching was not passed and they're trying to do it now?
Mm-hmm.
Where's it? When's the last lynching you heard of?
I'm sure there have been that I've not heard of them. The bottom line is, it's illegal to kill somebody. It doesn't matter if you use a knife, if you use fire, if you use bleach, if you use a rope, if you use a car, a truck, a train. You can't legally kill somebody.
So that would fall under murder. So lynching would fall under murder. So the blanket of murder. See, everyone wants it a little bit more special. They want to just be heard, and these people do nothing other than grandstand every day as an occupation.
Unreal. The things that this case has brought forward. What is the future hold for Mr. Smollett? Well,
probably nothing.
Might be prison, as somebody said.
No, he's not getting any prison time.
He could end up with a three book deal with some publisher, and you know what? They're looking for help over it.
Lost an election recently?
My grandmother used to say a hit dog will holler.
Maybe you have a suspect background.
There's absolutely nothing out there that would in any way suggest that I've done anything illegal or untoward.
No worries. We've got a job for you at CNN. All right, not everybody. Let's not get carried away. We're looking for more activist journalists like you. Sign up today at CNN's MyLastHope.net.
It is unbelievable. The news cycle these days, everything travels so quickly that it's amazing that this story lasted long enough to come to a conclusion.
Did you see Don Lemon freaking out already? He's so worried. He's so worried that mainstream media, including President Trump, Hannity, Tucker Carlson, they're going to be bringing this up, and his words, they're going to eat his lunch nonstop.
Patriot Mobile. This is a way that you can fight just that. I mean, fight all of this bias. That's the problem. They're going to be talking about the bias will become evident. What did they say? He'll be which journalist be?
Oh no, Trump. All three of them: Trump, Hannity, and Tucker Carlson. They're going to eat his lunch. They're going to eat his lunch. Well, what do you expect? Why are you worried about him being exposed? You should be. This is an embarrassment. If I'm Don Lemon, but I would go, listen, this set us back. This set us back and it invalidated everything we've been fighting for quite a while.
If you want to fight the good fight, like I said, Patriot Mobile. When you have a Patriot Mobile account every month, you sign that little check. Nobody signs a check anymore. When you have it debited from your account, the money that you pay Patriot Mobile for your cell phone and your cell phone service actually goes, a portion of that, to fund conservative and libertarian causes, the Tea Party Patriots, Empower Texas, the NRA. I mean, this is what you can do, because like you said, conservatives and libertarians in general are too busy working.
Do you have time to go do this kind of crap?
No, I don't. And I call this a lazy man's way of making a difference. And it really is. Go to patriotmobile.com/doc and find out how a portion of your cell bill every month can actually make a difference for the better in this country. patriotmobile.com/doc. Be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. This is your Daily Mojo.
Mike.
I'm Mike Opelka from PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill. The current frontrunner for the Democratic nomination to run against Donald Trump in 2020 is a guy who believes that bread lines are a good thing. This was Bernie Sanders on the record.
You know, it's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
Wait, what? You think people standing in line aren't standing in line because they're freaking starving? I hope somebody asks him if he still thinks bread lines are a good thing. And I hope somebody asks him if he was just kidding when he said that Medicare for all, government-provided health care for everybody, would bankrupt the country. He did say that. Listen.
Number one, you want to guarantee that all people have access to health care as you do in Canada. But I think what we understand is that unless we change the funding system and the control mechanisms in this country to do that, for example, if we expanded Medicaid to everybody, right, give everybody a Medicaid card, we would be spending such an astronomical sum of money that, we would bankrupt the nation.
Your Democratic leading candidate also does not have nice things to say about the president.
I think the current occupant of the White House is an embarrassment to our country. I think he is a pathological liar every day. But I also think he is a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe.
With more candidates like this, Trump's a shoo-in. Testudo, my friends.
Mike Opelka's 2-minute drill is powered by MoJoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MoJoWildRice.com. MoJoWildRice.com.
Nobody important over on Twitter. If there's anyone who needs an Amtrak train run up their ass, it's Don Lemon. I don't know if that would be punishment.
I'm trying not to be the constant jag of the show who's attacking, the PP smoochers and everything else, but that's not bad.
That's not that one at all. Roy and Jill Hole missing Doc. Jesse should lose his job. After all, Roseanne lost hers over a tweet.
That's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody else, every other conservative is taking a hit, and this guy's taking imaginary hits.
I'm not sure why I'm surprised. It's just frustrating that this sort of thing goes on. Have you heard of the young blood transfusions?
Was that a gang?
No, name of your college band, wasn't it?
No, it was the young, just the Young Bloods. We were a tribute to Harry Connick Jr.
See,
we had two gigs, and we're done.
Young blood transfusions. This is where you go in and they give you a transfusion of blood from someone who's younger.
Oh,
because apparently that will make you feel younger and better. And
yeah,
they're not as used. The U.S. FDA said it's concerned about reports of bad actors, not bad actors as in Jussie Smollett, but other bad actors offering infusions of blood plasma from young people to purportedly treat age-related conditions and diseases like memory loss, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. They said that the treatments are not only unproven, but they also come with potentially serious risks. Simply put, we're concerned that some patients are being preyed upon by unscrupulous actors touting the treatments of plasma from young people.
They're farming people. People will do anything. I don't know if you saw, what was her name from Bird Box? Sandra Bullock was on Ellen DeGeneres a couple of weeks ago, months ago, whatever, and they were talking about a procedure where she was taking cells from circumcised penises, and having them injected in her face.
Yes.
Because these people are sick.
Well, there might be. I mean, you don't think there's anything to
I don't
injecting with the plasma?
No,
getting the transfusion?
no, I don't. How about just age naturally?
It's kind of like the changing the oil in your car. I mean, after a while, the oil in your car gets dirty. It's full of gunk and sludge, and it starts making the motor run.
I don't know. You know what? Because you get some of the people, women and men from other countries who just eat all right, and they're not exposed to stress the way we are here, and they look amazing.
Yeah,
and they live happier lives in this crap here.
The FDA hasn't approved it yet for the treatment of said age-related conditions and diseases.
I don't know why the FDA would approve anything like that, because you are opening the door for farming human beings.
Well, eventually, don't you think that Soylent Green will
Matrix?
end up?
Yeah, Soylent Green or the Matrix.
How do you know the Matrix isn't happening right now?
You know what? I don't. You're absolutely right. You're right. I want that woman in red, though. I want the woman in red from the Matrix, the first one come by, but Isaac would be like, no, can't.
Right, especially if she's naked.
Oh, hot woman. No, I'm Isaac.
Boobs.
I'm offended.
No, boobs. They say there are significant risks. You can get infections, allergic reactions, breathing, cardiovascular problems. They urge the...
Does your nose get an erection or something?
Something like that. Doc wanted to do this, actually.
You want to get a nose erection?
No, he talked about the young blood transfusion. I don't know. You wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it. I embrace aging. I embrace aging. I do minimal to prevent it, but I embrace it. I don't want to be on this planet any longer than I have to be.
How long do you think you'll live?
You know what? Based on my father, who can literally eat anything and nothing happens to him, unfortunately, I think I'm stuck here for a while. That guy's just like he is a human Billy Goat garbage dispenser or whatever, garbage dispenser. But man, that guy puts in anything. Like, no.
My dad could do the same thing. My dad lived until he was 89.
Do you want to live that long?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if I said this a couple days ago, but Doc was over at the house one day, and I said, we've only got about three and a half more decades to put up with this. I was half right. I don't want to, when things start to hurt and you start to stink and it hurts to pee. No, I don't want to be around. I don't want to be laying in a bed with somebody wiping my butt. No.
I told you yesterday. I do. I want to be so wealthy. I pay for a harem of 19-year-old Swedish models. Oh, yes, you can. Yes,
you're laying there in your own.
Here's how you enjoy them. Ready? You pay for them and you write in your contract denying them access to all other men. I'm going to pay you X amount of thousands of dollars a year. You are not allowed to date. No other man is allowed to enjoy you. You are property of Emperor Izzo. That's how you get them.
I hadn't really considered that aspect, but that
yes,
another piece of the Izzo puzzle does fall into place this morning. However,
have no idea.
Have you ever heard of something called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome?
I think that was a band name of mine. That was a tribute to Neil Diamond.
WKS, as they call it. Let me know. Gwen hasn't called yet.
Yeah, we got a call. Yeah. We got a call.
Cool.
We got a call.
Well, then let's take the call. Hey, Gwen, is this you?
It's me. Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
You always sound so chipper.
Well, my morning routine helps with that.
and Gwen is the Gwen Rich of the richsolution.com. She and Adam run the entire thing. And Gwen has had some health challenges over the years, starting off with breast cancer, and then she broke her neck. And of course,
my God.
Then she's married to Adam, which is probably the two of those combined times 4 or 5. But Gwen has been on a remarkable journey of recovery. Does that never really stops, does it? I mean, you're always trying to, I guess, keep your body tuned up and in good shape, right, Gwen?
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing for me, and differently than how you two look at it. It's a challenge for me, but I do want to be here as long as possible. You know, I have 4 legacies besides my business, and that's my kids. And, you know, I want to see them go through their life cycle events, many that people take for granted. But to your point earlier, you know, about getting older, I think this challenge, which we're going to talk about in a minute here, I think that'll help you if you do incorporate and continue to do the things that we work through together. You're not going to need somebody while you're laying in bed to have to wipe your arms. Okay?
I'm sorry, your phone's breaking up. We're about to lose this caller right now. Gwen, are you still there?
I am. Are you, you really can't hear me?
No. he's just messing with you. So you weren't before the cancer and before you broke your neck. Were you into all of the supplements and the healthy living? Was your life like that before?
Yeah, I was someone who was always intrigued with health and trying to have the best quality of life. Yes, I was taking supplements and eating healthy and exercising. You know, it was when I got the diagnosis, it was a huge shock to my community because they're thinking, oh my God, if this woman could get cancer and look at the lifestyle she leads, then anybody can. So, so that's my challenge, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. I'm not really sure what you have said on the radio to everybody about what you want to do.
I know that I could take better care of myself. I used to take really good care. I used to work out all the time. And
you'll do your 40 push-ups at the next segment.
I did. Yeah, I did.
So every day you got to do 40 push-ups.
You did. You'd have been proud of me yesterday, Gwen. I did 40 push-ups back here.
We're gonna have him do them. We're gonna have him do them every day.
And you know, as I was getting into bed last night, my abdominal muscles, they hurt like hell. So it was obvious I hadn't done anything in a while. But no, my goal is to obviously get away from stuff that's bad for me, and if I'm going to be around for a while, and who knows if that's the case or not, but if I'm going to be, I want to at least I want to feel good, and I want to have energy. That's the biggest thing. As you get older, the energy level just goes.
Right. And that's human nature. As we get older, we lose our hormones, we lose our mitochondria, all this stuff. And sure, that's a challenge. But what we're going to work on, we can get energy back. So that's something, good to know. And so here's the thing that I look that's really cool is that we need to put some safeguards in place if we want to help you succeed.
Right.
And if we're going to put this out for the audience as well, if they want to join us.
Yep.
Because we're not going to just shoot from the hip. So, most people do have good intentions, especially this time of year for New Year's resolutions or something like this challenge. But you really need to be smart about it. You have to have a specific plan because most people really, it's not that they don't plan to fail, they fail to plan.
Remember, poor planning prevents. What is it? Poor planning prevents. Planning prevents.
There's just a lot of urine in that.
There really is. Sorry, you just continue on, Gwen. I'll think of it later.
It's okay. But here's the cool thing too, is that we know about human nature. Okay, as human beings and social creatures, we gather together around a common cause, a simple survival throughout our history, and we've grown tribes into entire cultures and civilizations over time.
Right.
So when it comes to your health, here's the harsh reality, is that you're never going to make it to your personal goals of joy, of health, loving, the weight loss, or anything else for that matter, unless you surround yourself with like-minded people. Well, here's the great thing. You have that. You've built your tribe. I know from last week, from meeting the fans, wonderful fans, they love
the
you.
jackholes.
Who say, Gwen, just to let you know, they're saying on Twitter, Lori F&D is saying, when you meet Gwen and Adam, you feel inferior. They are, all capitals, amazing.
Well, that's sweet of her to say that. But, we're not perfect by any means, but and we're here to help. So we're using our life experience and my story to help others, and that's what's really important.
And so, surrounded by a tribe who wants the same thing, who is supportive.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. That's
Right.
a place to start. All right, what's the
Yeah.
and then the next step obviously would be the plan itself, right?
Right. And we have this unique opportunity, too, in that we are all grieving the loss of someone who's meant so much to all of us. So with this challenge, we can all come together to heal, survive, and thrive. We can do this together. That's what people need to know. We need the support. Everybody needs to be held accountable. And Brad and whoever else wants to take this challenge, or Izzo, we will be held accountable, not only for me, but the audience. So I just think this is a great thing to do, to put it out there.
Tell me about these. Okay, so let me just kind of run down the because generally I think when people go either to therichsolution.com and they choose their supplements, it's kind of like throwing a dart at the wall. It's like, well, I need energy, I need this, I need that. So what do I get? The lineup of supplements that I've been provided with here, the Super Omega 3 Plus. That's the EPA DHA with sesame lignans. Boy, nobody said a spelling test. Olive extract, krill, and astaxanthin.
You've got a slew. Yeah, he's got a slew of supplements on the table. And for people who are going to wonder, as far as overwhelming picking from supplements from a website or whatnot, or a product line, talk about the necessity of it being a synergistic effect, meaning that I think people who are
just all work together.
Yeah, pretty much like the ignorance is, I'm going to take one thing and that's going to do it for me. Can you kind of touch on the fact why people need supplementation in their diet and the synergistic effect of taking multiples per day?
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing I want to say is that this challenge is not just about supplements. Okay, I know if you go to my website, I talk about supplements are not optional, and for a number of reasons. First of all, our soils are depleted, so we're not getting the nutrients that we need in our food. If you even go back to our grandparents, even to something as specific to an orange, they are getting way more nutrients in their orange than what we get today.
Right. That's the food industry.
As a culture, depends.
Yeah, the food industry has really polluted our food. I don't know how. I don't mean to be offensive talking about your age, but I'm 44, and when I was a kid, oranges were not the size they are today. Tomatoes weren't the size. So we I'm assuming that based on your background, you could talk about the necessity for supplementation because we don't get from our foods what people got 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Correct. Absolutely. And what everybody needs to know, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Okay, what maybe you need to take and what Brad needs to take and I take is totally different. It comes from our backgrounds. It comes from our hereditary. It comes from our lifestyle choices.
All right.
So I'm not just going to be pushing supplements, but the great thing about what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold everybody's hand and go through these things. Okay, step by step. And so they're small changes. We're not talking about doing this huge like a boot camp from day one, because people don't have success with that. You have success when you try something, okay, you have the intensity, the empowerment, and you make small changes. So over time, you have huge results.
What's a key to keep people... What is a key to keep people involved? Because you're saying so many things that are so important. You're 100% right. People are going to dive into something, and then I'm sure you've seen it 100 times. They don't stay consistent. What's a key that people can dig on to keep consistency so that they get the benefits as time goes on?
And that's a great question. So I know the first week in March, I'm going to be in the studios, and we will start this process. Okay, I'm really excited about it. And so this is one of the first things. So everybody gets a little tip into what we're going to do.
Right.
The first thing everyone needs to do, you, Brad, me, okay, what is your why? Your why has to be big enough. And I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, well, I have to have a cancer diagnosis to have a why. Your why could be, you know what, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not able to go play with my kids I want to feel better. Maybe you're just sick and tired of being tired and having no energy and having stomach problems. Maybe you have an autoimmune. Maybe you're scared to death because everyone around you either has an autoimmune or a cancer diagnosis.
It hurts
Whatever
when I tie
it
my
is,
shoes.
How
there
about
you go.
that?
Or
No,
maybe
that's
you
not a
can't
joke.
even see your shoes.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Right?
That's serious.
Yeah. So when you know your why and you are really focused on that, so when things do get hard or you're like, well, gosh, I don't really feel like doing those 40 sit-ups today. Yeah, sorry. You can always go back to your why. So my why is that I want to be around for my children and my husband.
Right.
I don't want my parents to have to bury a child. So those are with me every day. So when I look to, okay, work out, whether it's adding another protocol to my daily routine, my treatment, the foods that I decide not to put in my diet, it's not a hard decision for me. No, but I've already been doing this for almost 6 years. But that's what I'm here for my experience to help you all go through it as well.
All right, let me ask you this, because the supplements that are here were designed, I guess you chose those just for me. So somebody listening may not have the same needs. How do they figure out, and can they reach you to discuss which supplements? Because again, if you go to therichsolution.com and click on supplements over, I think it's supplements, isn't it? I'm going to make sure I got it right. Yeah, you go to supplements and then the drop-down menu and life extensions. How do they choose what they need and what's right for them? Can they get in touch with you?
Yes, and here I think that what we have said, at least so far, we haven't planned too much about this. We don't even have a name for this challenge, but we're going to have a private Facebook group. So that way, anybody who wants to do this challenge, we can talk in there, because there may be people you don't want to put this, out for everybody, but also to communicate on your Facebook, live, like right now when I'm on talking to you is a great thing. But I'll be going through this step by step.
Okay.
Because there are some supplements that I do believe everybody should be taking, because, if we look at the proof is in the pudding or the proof is in the population, okay, there are some things that everyone should be taking, okay? And then from there, it's going to be based on you really paying attention to your body and your needs. If someone decides to go get a baseline from their internist or an integrative doctor or a functional medicine doctor, you'll be able to start to see those things and what your individual needs are. So we'll talk about that.
Okay. So has there been? Have you set up the Facebook group?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No, because like I said, I haven't even come up with the name. But I'll
move
do
quickly
that, so
around
we're
here.
ready to go.
But not as fast as a train.
This sounds amazing. So you're going to be offering information, like if somebody goes and gets a blood test, or they go to the doctor, you're going to be able to offer insights and suggestions on what you think they should incorporate in their planning. That's invaluable. That is invaluable information. That's amazing.
Right. Now, I'm not a doctor. I always have to disclose it.
Right.
Everything that I'm doing and talking about other people is what I have done.
Right.
Okay? I walk the walk, talk the talk.
Yep.
Okay? So, yes, in terms like for tests that you can take and then what your levels are, I can certainly say, yeah, if you need to be in this certain range, but of course, talk to your doctor. Or if you're on certain medicines, you should definitely talk to your doctor before doing thus and so. But
you don't want to run out and do thus and so without having a doctor actually checking your thus and so.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that's common sense.
It's amazing what we can do, and we don't need the doctor involved in it. I mean, it's like, I heard this analogy and I thought it was great. So do any of us really consult a doctor if we want to consider if we should decide whether we're going to have something that's in that vending machine?
No, we don't. We just take it and we stuff it in our mouths and we eat it.
There you go.
And so here we're talking about small changes, that things are actually good for you, and you don't need a doctor to tell you that.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
But I think that the cool thing for everybody they need to know is we're going to be doing this together. You need a support system. You need to hold somebody accountable. I'm really looking forward to this, because I think you already have that built in place. And I think there's a lot of people out there who do want to feel better. We're talking about a quality of life, and everybody's just sick and tired of having no energy. That's a big one. You mentioned that before. Yeah.
And of course, you can see and hear Gwen every day on the Spoonie's Facebook page. Do you do it the same time every day?
I usually try to do somewhere around 3 o'clock. Yeah.
All right, so 3 o'clock Eastern time, or is that Central?
It's actually Central Standard Time.
4 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
4 o'clock Eastern.
Correct.
On the Spoonie Facebook page, our sister network across the glass over there. All right, so keep up with that, and then you will let us know as soon as the Facebook group is put together, and people can tune into that, and we can all try to get healthier together.
There you go.
Cool.
Love it. Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Gwen.
just let me know if you want me to call in. I'll be happy to do that.
Absolutely.
Before the first week in March.
No, I think it's probably a good idea to talk every couple days just to remind people, and maybe you will have a story to tell, something like that. So yeah, great idea.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll keep up the work. I'm not sure.
I'm not giving up my pizza. I don't know what she's thinking. I'm not giving up pizza. I mean, good on her. That's fantastic. And if any of you jackholes or any listeners are listening and you actually want some kind of assistance on a challenge, I will tell you, coming from the fitness industry, being a participant in the fitness industry, it sucks. Everybody and their mother, fitness is constantly being reinvented. Everybody's got this and that, blah blah blah. And then you start a challenge. 99% of us don't finish it. So if Gwen and Adam are willing to work with people and give information and whatnot, take advantage of it. Do it. I'm not changing my diet. I'm eating pizza and I want to die early. Cigars and pizza.
I would, if I can figure out a way to eat pizza and lose weight, I'm all over it, especially if it has pineapple.
I can't do that.
Maybe peanut butter.
I can't do that. You got a dog?
Speaking of peanut butter, a nearly naked man covered himself in peanut butter and went to a Dallas dog park.
See?
And there's video of it.
Oh, my God.
Careful,
don't offend Isaac.
Hang on a second.
He's going to quit.
All right. Isaac, go ahead. I don't know what the audio is on this, so I'm not going to play the audio, but go ahead and pull up the screen in here, and you will see the guy running through the Dallas dog park.
Oh, yeah.
Buck naked. This is after he decided to smear peanut butter all over his body. And I'm not sure exactly why he did this. I don't know that he knows exactly why he did this.
So you got a man under some overpasses who's running.
Yeah, they're sitting there. Yeah. They're people are sitting on a bench watching this man run bucko. I hope that he won a lot of money, because this seems to me, this is one of those, remember we talked about what would you do at the Super Bowl halftime show on live television and how much it would cost? This is one of those things, running through.
Oh, that would be nothing.
And he's hiding behind.
That'd be nothing. That's mental.
There he goes.
He's got to have chunky. Can you imagine the
guy's actually in pretty good shape.
Oh, this is fantastic. He is.
This dude's on drugs. There's no question.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, he wants a dog to lick him.
Well, it doesn't say where the peanut butter.
Look, the dogs are like, hey.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. It takes a lot to get me uncomfortable. The fact that Ron is behind the glass going, hey, I am officially uncomfortable.
I think that's it. All right, so
you want some dogs to lick you?
There you go.
Run naked with peanut butter.
Well, it's better than a cat. You know, the cats have that rough tongue thing going on. Let's see. Who is it?
Anyways, this morning on your Daily Mojo.
25-year-old guy, Arlington, Texas. He went to Bark Park Central in Dallas. He was naked except for a gold Speedo bathing suit. I guess it didn't look like he had a bathing suit on there. He covered himself in creamy Jif peanut butter, entered the dog park, stood there for 5 minutes while a dog approached him for a snack, and spectators watched in confusion. His girlfriend filmed the incident.
Okay, so she was trying to get him
lost a bet.
out.
He did lose a bet.
Oh.
He did lose a bet. He placed last in his 12-person fantasy football league.
That's
the
some
penalty.
balls.
Okay, now the story comes out. This is brilliant.
The penalty for which was to pay either $250 or perform the dog park peanut butter stunt.
Based on getting arrested, I'd pay the $250. I just that's it. I mean, there's not much I wouldn't do.
That much to bail out?
No, I don't know what your misdemeanor law. That's got to be a misdemeanor here, but man. I'm not having that on my record.
It sure didn't look like
if
he
there's
had a
something on
Speedo
the books that says you can't run half naked in a dog park wearing peanut butter.
Oh yes, there's got to be.
There's got to be
minimum
something.
disorderly conduct. Minimum.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum.
Well, they'd probably go to prison for that if he was in Chicago. Or not.
No. Never happened to me.
Speaking of racism,
there's no racism left anymore.
Burberry has apologized after its hoodie with a noose knot prompts criticism. This on the heels of the the sweater,
the Gucci.
Oh, that's
black.
Yeah.
It's brilliant marketing. These people know
So you
what they're
think this is all-
doing.
this is all
yes, I
BS,
do.
huh?
You have a failing company, or a company that's falling off into the oblivion. Let's do something to get shock value attention. This is why racism will never die, because it sells. It sells.
This is a bizarre.
Why not just have Why not
sweater.
just during the hashtag Me Too movement? You've got pants that have the automatic cucumber slid down the thigh. Oh, we didn't know that was there.
Automatic cucumber. This is a strange looking sweater, and it does look like it has a noose around the neck. But it did Burberry. I mean, when was the last time you're right? When was the last time you thought about Burberry?
No, when I drove down Michigan Avenue, they got the Burberry store. That's about it. And I go, oh, look, a place I wouldn't be set foot in because I'm not a rich snob and I have no use for Burberry merchandise.
The CEO and the chief creative officer of luxury fashion there at Burberry apologized for putting out the hoodie with strings tied in the shape of a noose on their London Fashion Week runway. The knotted strings surfaced after Sunday's show when a model hired to walk but not wear the outfit complained both before and after the show on Instagram, saying the noose not only evoked lynchings but also suicide. Marco Gabbetti, the brand's CEO, said in a statement Tuesday that Burberry is deeply sorry for the distress the top has caused and has it removed from their autumn-winter collection, along with all images featuring the look.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess this would fall under there's no such thing as bad publicity, just spelled the name right.
Absolutely.
The design was inspired by a nautical theme. I realize that now that it was insensitive, he says.
Hi, sailor. Come here often.
Burberry.
Ship a seaman.
What a strange day this is and continues to be. It remains your Daily Mojo.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Opponents of President Trump's strategy for building a border wall will try something new aimed at derailing the president's plan.
House Democrats are reportedly planning to file a resolution Friday to officially challenge President Trump's plan to get billions of additional dollars in border wall funding beyond what Congress authorized by using a national emergency declaration to access government agency budgets. A challenge to the president will likely pass in the House, and at least one Republican will vote yes in the Senate, Susan Collins of Maine. Even if the measure passed in the GOP-led chamber, President Trump has promised a veto, which would be difficult to override. Jackie Quinn, Washington.
A Coast Guard lieutenant due in court later today, charged with plotting acts of domestic terrorism. Prosecutors allege Christopher Hassan compiled a hit list that included prominent Democrats and media figures. The Maryland man arrested on gun and drug charges last week. Class back in session today at schools across West Virginia.
Unions for West Virginia teachers have ended their two-day strike after state lawmakers didn't act on a doomed broad-based education bill that, among other things, would have created the state's first charter schools and allow education savings accounts for parents to pay for private school. Proponents said the moves would have given parents more school choices. Unions for teachers and school service workers went on strike Tuesday over the legislation that they said lacked their input and was retaliation for a 9-day walkout last year. I'm Matt Small.
A landmark sex abuse prevention summit underway at the Vatican. Pope Francis warning church leaders, the Catholic faithful, demand more than just condemnation of the crimes of priests. He says they're looking for concrete action as well. Wall Street stock futures pointing to a lower open later on. Dow futures down 29 points. S&P futures off 4 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
This is Tim Barton from Wall Builders with another moment from American history. America is a special and unique nation. The average length for a constitution in other countries is only 17 years, but we've had ours for over 2 centuries. And our 4% of the world's population produces 24% of the world's gross domestic product, and every year we produce more inventions and technology than the other 96% of the world combined. In 1831, Alexis de Tocqueville of France came to America, traveled the country, and in his famous book, Democracy in America, reported, "The position of the Americans is therefore quite exceptional, and it may be believed that no democratic people will ever be placed in a similar one." This is the origin of the phrase American exceptionalism, and affirms that America is unique because of the distinctive ideas on which we have been based, including inalienable rights, individualism, limited government, and the importance of religion and morality. For more information about American exceptionalism, go to wallbuilders.com.
Having an extra supply of food on hand is just smart. Some people call it prepping. I call it smart. You never know what's going to happen in this world. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. You'll find out a lot of good reasons to have that food and some great prices. mypatriotsupply.com.
The 3, which is a threesome.
Yes.
But a full, I guess, foursome. And then 5-some. And then gangbang. You're in no man's land. Yeah.
No, you're in a lot of men's land. A lot of men's.
Brandon Morse, today at 1. MoJo 50. Rebel rousers, instigators, troublemakers, freaks, agitators, fanatics, scallywags, mutants, scamps, firebrands, rogues, scoundrels, MoJo sexuals. MoJo 50.
The mothership has landed.
All right, get the tweets and the comments coming in over on Facebook. Raquel said, "Oh my God, the dude's got balls. Eddie's got balls." Santa Clark says, I eat healthy, workout not because I want to live, but because I'm incredibly vain.
So there you go. There is nothing wrong with that. I 100% agree. Absolutely.
And Grayson says, rabbits have rough tongue. Just say.
Oh, dear God.
Any tweets coming in over there as well? Or
you had one, and I'm trying to find a stroll back through the quadruple P thing.
That's right.
Yeah,
proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah.
You know, you'd always think of that stuff when you're not under pressure.
There's your 5th P.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't want to interrupt because Gwen was talking, and I didn't think that was appropriate to interrupt because she was so fantastic.
Being woman has patience of a saint. And in the MeWe chat room,
I don't. It's ridiculous. They are so all over the place. They did add me to that other chat room.
Oh, the just outside your comfort zone?
No.
Which one?
Yeah, I'm not getting involved in it. I'm just, I just can't. I can't. I think there needs to be a fine line separation from where I don't get too familiar. And then all of a sudden, hey, I get in a drunken stupor, and Izzo's sending shots of his ass, spread from behind. What's going on here? Hey, guys, just in chat room.
You just want to keep a healthy separation.
Just for the sake of whatever hairline fracture I have of respect from the jackholes, I got to keep it.
Yeah,
got to keep it.
That's something to aspire to.
I'll get there.
So it appears that they may have found a host for the Oscars.
They were going without a host, correct?
They were, and they may still be, but there's some speculation.
Who they getting, Uncle Brad?
That it could be Whoopi Goldberg
again. No, she never did. It was always Billy Crystal, who was one of the best.
Mm-hmm. Didn't she and Billy
Comic
Crystal
Relief.
and Robin Williams?
They did Comic Relief forever.
Okay. She's been missing from The View for the past several weeks due to an alleged battle with pneumonia, but alternative theories have since cropped up on Twitter with the several users suggesting that she may be actually in L.A. Preparing for the ceremony, which is the 24th, this Sunday, right? It's this Sunday.
The Oscars are on this Sunday?
Yeah. 'cause
I'm not going to watch.
today's
I used to love it.
21st. I
yeah.
haven't watched them forever.
No,
'cause
it
it's
was one of my favorite events all year long. I was huge into movies.
They just can't keep their mouth shut.
No, you know what? I respect everyone has an opinion. I really do. But your job is to pretend and put me in a state of, 2 hours of vicariously living off of the planet. I don't want to.
Yes.
I think 1997 for me changed everything because you had Titanic was up for Best Picture, As Good as It Gets, Good Will Hunting, and I realized that movies were no longer entertainment. They were along lines of inserting these concepts and ideas, brainwashing.
Yes.
I wanted to be entertained. That was the purpose of movies. So ever since then, it's like I stopped enjoying them. I absolutely stopped enjoying films.
Not so much anymore. The ABC is saying that the rumor is absolutely false, and so is Joy Behar, and we all know that no one in Hollywood ever lies.
Sure.
So it probably will not be Whoopi hosting the Oscars. And I want to apologize. Yesterday, I tried to pin on Isaac and the guy behind the glass.
Who doesn't like boobs.
Right. I tried to pin on them the fact that they weren't ready with the headline sounder, and it was totally my fault because Doc used to do that from this chair over here. So that technically is my job, and I blamed them for something that I should have been pinning right on myself. So I do apologize for that.
Did you see today that intern producer Isaac brought in a spray bottle of holy water to squirt in his eyes if should boobs get back up on the screen?
I think that's wise. Now, if they could just not screw up the rest of what they're doing, then I think we'd be okay. But I'll go ahead and point to them and see if it works this time.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
All right, Jack Holes at 1680D, and your headlines are brought to you by APR Coffee, which I'm drinking out of the my newly discovered Patriot Mobile coffee mug. And it's good. As usual, one of these stories in today's headlines is not real. It is your job to figure out which one. A man in Tulsa, Oklahoma says he stole a Pepsi truck to get to the airport. Authorities there say that the Oklahoma man stole a Pepsi truck as the driver was unloading soda in the back. It's not a euphemism.
You guys still call it soda or pop out here? We call it pop up in
Coke.
Okay. We call it pop.
Yeah. Soda. Yeah, I think it's just Coke. Tulsa police say nobody was hurt. The driver jumped off the back of the truck when he felt his rig move. A trail of soda spilled as the truck drove off. Police say that Stephen Hart told him he was trying to get to the airport after an argument with his girlfriend. The girlfriend says he was searching for her.
Why wouldn't you?
Would you? Okay, how hot has she got to be if you're stealing?
No.
Pepsi
There's
truck?
something more than that. Something more than that. If she's hot, let her go. I don't care. There's something more than that. It's
that thing she does with her little
there's
finger.
No, little finger.
And?
If you're not knuckle blasting with friggin' the biggest one on there, something's wrong.
Hart jumped out and started to run as police say they caught up to him. He was arrested as his rig rolled into the back of a school bus. Nobody on board the bus was injured. He's being held pending charges that include larceny and attempted escape from the county jail as he was being booked into custody. Well, I hope she was worth it. In Peabody, Mass., a man who dumped a giant tuna in the woods is pled guilty. Massachusetts man...
Tuna, T-U-N-A, not tuba? Okay.
No, not a tuba. It's not the tuma.
Mm-hmm.
A Massachusetts man, authorities say, caught a tuna out of season and then dumped the headless 400-pound carcass in the woods, has been placed on probation after pleading guilty to related charges. The Salem News reports that Harold Wentworth of Gloucester pleaded guilty on Monday to littering from a vehicle, improper disposal of waste, and driving after license suspensions. Yes.
I don't understand. Well, it's going to degrade. It's going to be eaten by animals, so it's not waste. And what is it? Tuna season? It's fishing season? You can only fish in certain times a year?
Apparently so.
And that's maybe a couple $1,000s worth of sushi right there?
He was sentenced to, no. He was sentenced to a year of probation, ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. He'd already been fined $15,000. The tuna, the bluefin tuna, was worth an estimated $10,000. It was found in the woods of Gloucester in October 2017.
You bring sushi here.
A tow truck was needed to haul it out of the trees, and boy, don't you know, that smelled fabulous.
That's like my ex.
In Kansas City, Missouri, a morgue worker was arrested after giving birth to a dead man's baby. 26-year-old morgue worker was arrested after a DNA test revealed that her newborn child was the result of a necrophiliac intercourse with a man she was supposed to autopsy. Have you ever seen that? What happens to a body after they've died? They can actually. Yeah. Jennifer Burrows, an assistant pathologist with the Jackson County Medical Examiner's Services, is accused of having sex with dozens of corpses over the course of the last 2 years.
So blood pooling is what happens when, like, you die and the blood literally pools at the lowest part of your body. So if you're laying on your back and you got an ass the size of Montana like I do, you're getting all that blood's going there in your shoulders. I don't know. I don't think you could pump that up unless she's got a special tube that's kind of helping Uncle Johnny there get up.
The police department said that her baby is the son of a man who died in a car accident in March 2017 and whose body she was supposed to autopsy. They allege that she actually sexually abused more than 60 other dead bodies, ranging from 17 to 71 years of age. Moving right along, a German town has seen a Smurf invasion. As thousands have gathered to break a world record. They came covered in blue paint, donning red and white hats. Nearly 3,000 of them. Their goal was simple: to break the record for the largest group of people dressed as Smurfs.
Shut up, jackholes. I'm not going.
I blew myself for the first time in 5 years. The group Da Transversenblasen
I can't.
organized the event. There in Germany on Saturday near the border with Switzerland. They had strict rules. In order to be counted, participants couldn't show any non-blue skin. They could dress as Papa Smurf with his trademark red cap and white beard, or Smurfette with blonde hair and a white skirt or dress. Normal Smurfs were okay, but some characters like the evil wizard Gargamel.
Yeah, Gargamel.
Was strictly
and
off
Azrael the
limits.
cat.
They apparently had 2,762 Smurfs show up
How
there.
many Smurfettes were there?
Doesn't say. Doesn't have a breakdown.
She was
Although they have a
hot.
Facebook page.
She was hot.
So it's possible. An airport worker was killed by an exploding tire in Southern California. He was killed after the tire exploded during maintenance work, officials said on Wednesday. That would be yesterday. The accident happened in a workshop at John Wayne Airport. The worker has yet to be identified. Another worker was present, not injured in the blast. The tire was part of the jet bridge connecting the plane to the terminal. The spokesperson said the tire blew up, but it was about 4 feet in diameter. It was strong enough to trigger the emergency sprinkler system, which prompted a response from the Orange County Fire Authority and paramedics stationed at the airport. They still don't know why it happened. In China, a 12-year-old boy.
Go figure.
Has had to have surgery to remove 39 magnetic balls from his penis.
It's going to be the next one to invent a nuclear reactor.
The youngster from Wuhan in China's Hubei province reportedly inserted the string of balls out of curiosity. He was taken to Wuhan's Children's Hospital on January 13th, told the doctors that he had swallowed some foreign objects, according to Can News. But Dr. Wang Yang, a urologist at the hospital, was shocked to find the 39 balls, also known as buckyballs, stuck along the boy's urinary tract. The medical staff conducted a minimally invasive surgery to extract said balls. According to the doctor, quote, "It's impossible to pull the magnet balls out. The alignment of the balls would be changed if you try to pull it out along the tract," end quote. The boy is now able to pee and is recovering in the hospital.
Calling that 100% real.
Karl Lagerfeld, as you probably have heard, died this past weekend. His cat, Shupei, will be inheriting a lot of money, as in $200 million of money. And apparently the cat is called a Berman. They say it was arguably the 85-year-old Lagerfeld's biggest love. May have a large chunk of her human's bank balance handed over after Karl admitted that he was leaving her an inheritance. If cats get an inheritance, that is. But if they say that the cat can have a bodyguard, a personal chef, 2 maids.
What was it? You remember that old Dr. Demento skit talking about the will? And so to my cat Mittens, I leave my entire vast boot to the head.
So apparently, whoever's taking care of the cat is going to have quite a bit of money to spend in their lifetime. So we have Karl Lagerfeld's cat, we have the boy and the balls, we have the airport worker and the tire, the Smurf invasion, the pregnant morgue worker, the tuna in the woods, and the stolen Pepsi truck. One of those is not real. Your job is to decide. We will find out which one isn't real after we have our coffee break. APR Coffee, of course, American Pride Roasters. I have another coffee fact here for you. There are only 2 United States that produce coffee. Do you know which ones they are?
One? No.
Take a stab.
I don't know. No, I'm
you
not.
got this. Work through it.
No.
Come on. You got it.
No. What options do I get?
They're both states.
I'm going to go really obscure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, states here.
Yeah, United States.
Okay, well, it could be states. I'm going to say Oregon.
Okay.
Delaware.
Wrong. California and Hawaii.
Yeah.
They say Hawaii's weather is optimal for harvesting beans. California just recently got into the coffee game. Dozens of farms now churning out the coffee. Do you know what espresso means in Italian?
Will F you up.
That's so weird. How'd you know that?
Oh.
No, it means pressed out.
Turned out?
Pressed out.
I'm sure it was. That's what happened to Jesse Smollett.
If you go to American Pride Roasters, you will find there the best coffee you have ever tasted anywhere on the planet.
And we are drinking the MoJo blend this morning.
It is not hyperbole. It is really good coffee. It is all handmade. I mean, I think he even makes the beans, which, by the way, aren't beans. They're pits. You know that? Coffee beans are actually the...
Oh, well, if you look at it, they come in... Thank you. Or they're formed in like it looks like a nut, and that's on the inside.
I think they call it cherry.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh.
I always thought they just dried that stuff out like grapes.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Grapes and raisins.
DM would know. I'm sure he'll
Or
let us know.
old sagging breasts, right?
Well, there's that too.
Okay.
I think you just made. Isaac throw up. Doc Thompson's. I found Doc Thompson's Uranus hurts again. So it is still. I guess there is still some of that left, and P. Hat Matt's peppermint mocha. You can still get some of that. It's
very Christmassy, isn't it?
It really is. AmericanPrideRoasters.com is where you will find all of that. All right. So which of those stories do you think may have been unreal?
Where's
Ron's not listening. Isaac,
okay,
Isaac, you want to take a guess too, since Ron's not paying any damn attention.
There were no boobs in these stories.
I'm gonna go with the pregnant worker. That's mine.
All right, so Ron agrees that's 2 on the pregnant more worker.
Ron says the same thing.
I'm saying tuna.
You're saying tuna.
I'm saying tuna.
Actually, the guys behind the glass have it this time.
Oh, so we're 2 for 2.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
It is actually the pregnant morgue worker. That is not the real story. The tuna, that's a real story.
I can't picture a one man trying to get a 1,000-pound tuna out of his truck, and what dumb. The thing that got me was the making it illegal to fish for tuna at a certain time of year.
Who knew?
Necrophilia,
just like deer
necrophilia is
season.
a thing.
Necrophilia is fine. Just
come on.
Don't shoot tuna out of season.
There you go.
All right, we're going to try this. Okay. All right, Isaac, those are your headlines.
MoJo 50.
Oh, how is that? Well, that sounded good, huh? Just like the big boys.
I like that.
Today is Thursday, February 21st. By the way, 2019, there are 620 days left until the most important election of our lifetime. That, of course, being election 2020.
I'm Barbara Walters.
Baba Wawa.
Uh-huh.
Ellen Page today is 31 years old.
Who is Ellen Page?
She was she was in Juneau, but she just went on.
Oh,
remember she was.
This was an attack on all
Pence.
of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. She if they would just shut their
Act.
mouths.
Let me watch your movies. Let me pretend I have a chance with you. Let me be somewhat attracted to you, aroused, or motivated by you, and move on with your life.
I know. I just don't understand why they cannot shut their mouths, why they always must bring something up that makes me not want to like them. Nina Simone, great.
Nina Simone.
Great
She's a singer.
Yeah,
She's that's right.
85.
Yeah.
Or she would be 85. Is she still alive?
I don't. If she's listed on her birthday, why wouldn't she be? Or is it just like they give celebrity birthdays who also passed?
Nina Simone could not stay. Is she maybe? She is.
She was. They featured her in the movie that was the American version of La Femme Nikita, Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda, where she's trying to seduce Gabriel Byrne. You know what this song's about? It's Nina Simone. I remember that.
She was just inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame, but this last time. So absolutely fantastic.
So she's still
voice.
alive.
Yeah, and on this day in what was the date here? This was in 1972. You know what happened then?
No, because I had a couple more years before I was born.
1972.
There's an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon could go to China.
And he did. to stay in 1972. And then it was, I think it was 1981.
Oh, yeah.
Dolly hit number one.
Isaac, you know who this is?
Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some Dolly.
Oh, my God. Great voice, number one.
Yes.
Fantastic person. But, Isaac, pay attention, because you're a youth back there. She was made famous more so back then for what? Do you guys remember
Her
what?
boobies.
Oh, my God, that's right.
God, that was a great post, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you for my old radio days. Man, I missed that stuff.
Dabney Coleman was in that movie.
Yeah, this was Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda.
Oh,
It's still a hilarious movie.
It is pretty funny.
Jane Fonda's another one that went off the deep end.
I know, right? And again, if they could just keep their mouths shut, but they can't for whatever reason.
Oh, Jacenta, I'm sorry, Jacenta.
I don't know how to say her name either.
I'm sorry, just hot chick on Facebook says, you guys are hurting my brain right now. Nina Simone, birds flying high. You know how I feel. Yeah, Michael Bublé.
Yeah, she's a fantastic singer. Yeah. So a Virginia woman going through her late father's matchbook collection now believes it could be a new Guinness World Record. She says her dad had been collecting matchbooks, which I never understood. I have some friends who collect matchbooks.
You remember the giant? People would throw them into the very huge brandy glasses.
Yeah, a fishbowl.
Yeah.
She said her dad had collected matchbooks for more than 50 years before he died about 3 years ago. She thinks that he may have saved somewhere in the neighborhood of 21,000 matches.
One hell of a forest fire.
Can you imagine if that was if this has been stored in their house? Woo!
No, I mean, but it takes
one.
I don't know.
One little match.
You gotta get to the box and all that kind of stuff. And I said box.
One of the boxes that they counted this morning is 1,390 matches in it, or match books, and just she says there's 50 boxes of them, so they've got a buttload of matches that they need to count. Did you ever collect anything?
No, I tried to. Comic books, coins. Being a cop too, everybody collects these challenge coin things. I try to do that. I don't.
Just nothing you
no, there's nothing. No, there's nothing that I have a collection of that I'm really proud of. Women.
See, those are too expensive.
That's lovers, if you will.
It's far too expensive a collection to collect.
Yeah.
Back scratchers is a guy in North Carolina. He has he owns 675 back scratchers from 71 different countries.
Those are some of the world's greatest inventions. Back scratchers. They truly are.
If used correctly,
they truly are.
Bars of soap.
How do you use them, Uncle Brad?
Those records are sealed. Carol Vaughn in Birmingham, across the pond, she has an impressive collection, she says, of more than 5,000 bars of soap from all over the world.
She's dirty. She doesn't use it.
She's a dirty girl.
Dirty.
Dirty girl. It is a good one for you.
That, by the way, what you just did, that's that ASMR stuff. That's exactly what that is.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that this morning, too. That's weird stuff. 30,000 toenail clippings.
All right, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Actually, this one is not an individual. This is it's a collection for medical research.
Sure.
But it's still nasty. 30,000.
That would fall under podiatrists. The foot doctor.
Have you ever seen somebody who, like the guy who didn't trim his fingernails for like 20 years?
No, I've seen worse, but people who are in certain medical conditions, obesity, who can't get their own toenails cut, it's actually a very unpleasant sight. Right up there with Porsche Girl and Blue Waffles.
Yes. Don't Google Blue Waffle. Do not Google Porsche Girl. Rob Hull has a collection of Daleks.
Rob Hull? What?
Rob Hull.
Sure. Okay.
Hull. He has a collection of 571 Daleks.
What are Daleks?
From Doctor Who. The little the exterminate.
Oh, those the robot thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are Daleks.
Got it.
Let's see, and this is going back.
How many Doctor Who's have there been?
9?
That was another
11?
very popular.
Oh, have you ever watched it?
No, my uncle
who
is dead. He actually was a very big Doctor Who fan. I never got into it.
They just had the first female. It's Jodie. What's her name? Jodie Whittaker.
Hey,
Jodie Whittaker.
You got. No,
She's the
we
first.
could take the call after break.
Yeah, we actually have believe an interview coming up after the break.
We got a call.
Umbrella
Oh, that's it
cover. Umbrella cover sleeves, largest umbrella cover collection, is owned by Nancy Hoffman from Peaks Island, Maine. She has 730 of these umbrella Coca-Cola cans. A guy in Italy has saved. Let's see, how many does he have? His collection. Let's see, he's 39. He's been saving since he was 15. He has thousands of Coca-Cola cans.
When people have this type of crutch, it makes me wonder what they're compensating for or what they're neglecting.
Guns. If you know what, guns are not a bad thing to collect.
Absolutely.
I brought in another one for show and tell today.
I saw that.
Little North American arms, which,
It's
by the
a
way,
pew pew gun.
it is a tiny little. Yeah, I keep forgetting I put the rounds in the little pouch, the protective pouch for said North American Arms 22 Magnum, which you can find at traguns.com. That's traguns.com. That's for Tar River Arms. If you are a concealed carry permit holder, it's tough. I mean, everybody, it's like underwear or socks. It's really a personal thing to what you want to carry.
You only wear one of them? Underwear or socks?
I only wear one sock.
Guess what Brad's wearing today, gang?
This would be, actually, I've got great socks on today.
That
but
means no underwear.
This is a fabulous little personal protection item if you wear shorts a lot. Because it doesn't weigh very much. It fits right in your pocket. It fits in your hand, literally. Just go to traguns.com, the most convenient gun store on earth, and do a little search for North American Arms. And look for the little 22 Magnum, the NAA 22 Magnum. Great gun and a great gun store. It is traguns.com. That's Tar River Arms. traguns.com. Your Daily Mojo continues in just a second.
Free exchange of ideas. Mojo 50.
Do you ever wonder whether adults are in charge of the school where your kids attend, or should you consider perhaps some who act like children may be running the show? Let me explain. A Wisconsin high school is in hot water because its cheerleading coach thought it would be a great idea to have an awards ceremony in which awards were given for the best, quote, big booby and, quote, big booty, among other achievements. The brainchild of the awards was Coach Patty Uddick, who reportedly told the high school principal that the awards were first given out in 2017 and originally picked by the senior class because of the things cheerleaders see and do every day as cheerleaders. Uddick said, quote, they are always getting butts in their faces and other body parts. Awards were reportedly handed out at the event to a girl for her, quote, enormous boobs, and to another girl who received the, quote, big booty award because, quote, everybody loves her butt. A freshman cheerleader apparently did make the cut in some areas, but got the, quote, string bean award because she was, quote, so light and skinny. Parents who attended the event weren't laughing at the juvenile humor associated with the awards, however. Parents have now contacted the ACLU and may decide to sue the school for making inappropriate comments toward the students and enabling sexual harassment, unless the school takes appropriate and immediate action to prevent such awards in the future. Reportedly, Coach Uddick was asked to resign in May of last year and was given an opportunity to be in a behind-the-scenes capacity with the team. Uddick apologized to the girls, but currently has no plans to butt out of her role as coach. And that's today's reality check with Susan Knowles.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
It's a funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone, RIDUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
The Daily Mojo.
All right, get those communiques coming in on the Twitter and the Facebook and over in MeWe, too. If you can put down what it is, whatever it is you're doing.
They're all over
MeWe.
the place in Mealy talking about peanut butter and people being limp and bacon and
anything happening on Twitter?
No, Twitter. Yeah, too much again too. 14 Doctor Who's. That was GoFundMe.com. Save Camp Dragon. 14 Doctor Who's, because I count the War Doctor and it's pronounced Darlick, like garlic with a D. So you.
I said Daleks.
Mm-hmm. Dalek.
Dalek.
I don't know.
That's
I'm
what
just
I
letting you
said.
know. But then Common Sense Train Reform says 13 number Doctor Who is from William Hartnell to Jodie Whittaker. But if you count the War Doctor, Sir John Hurt, it's 14.
Matt Smith was a great one, and
don't know.
David Tennant Those are when I started watching it, it was the guy just before Matt Smith when I started watching it, and I can't remember his name, but each one you go, man, this is my favorite, and then the next one comes along, and it's...
I couldn't do it. It was like Star Trek. I enjoy the movies, but I can't watch the series. It's just too much to stay in tune, and you have to be a dedicated fan to follow up. Just more stuff you're collecting.
It's kind of fun.
Right.
It's more fun than thinking about your taxes, I'll tell you that. So with the stories that have been coming out lately about everybody's refund has been lower than in years past, and everybody's up in arms saying it was the tax act that the president and Congress got through, that's to blame, and people aren't making as much money. So we decided to go straight to the horse's mouth, as it were. Daniel Pilla is an expert in IRS procedure. He's an advocate of taxpayer rights, and he's the author of How to Win Your Tax Audit. I believe he's on the phone right now.
We're going to go to the phones right now.
Hello, caller.
That is correct.
Daniel,
yes,
how are you?
I'm here with you guys. How are you doing this morning? I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, sir. It says that you are America's leader in taxpayer defense. So that's a good thing. We like
Well, yeah, it is. I've been doing this for over 4 decades, helping people solve IRS problems of every description. So, yeah, I've got pretty good amount of experience in dealing with these guys.
Dealing with the IRS sucks. I've had to do it in the past. It is, I think I would rather have a root canal without Novocaine.
Well, it's funny that you say that. In my book, How to Win Your Tax Audit, I talk about a survey that was done by Reader's Digest about 30 years ago, where they surveyed people, would you rather go through a tax audit or have a root canal? And about 75% said they'd rather have a root canal than go.
Brutal.
And for good reason, because you go through the typical tax audit will net the IRS about $12,000 in additional taxes and penalties, and when you add the interest to that, it typically doubles. So I don't know a lot of people that can write a check for $24,000 and not miss the money, and that's why it's so important to understand what your rights are when you're dealing with the IRS.
Is this even if someone uses an accountant, or is this mostly when someone does their own taxes that they find themselves in that position?
No, it doesn't make any difference whether you use an accountant or not. The fact of the matter is about 80% of the taxpayers out there are using some kind of paid preparer. 60% are using CPAs or enrolled agents to do their returns, a human preparer, and about another 20% are using computer programs like TurboTax. And so it doesn't make any difference, because the tax pro, for example, that fills out your tax return, first of all, they make a lot of mistakes too, and they're like everybody else. This tax law is confusing. Unless you're keeping up with it on a daily basis, you're going to make mistakes. But the other problem is this: 2/3 of every taxpayer that has a problem in a tax audit has the problem because they didn't keep the proper records. They don't know how to prove that their tax return is correct. And that's a problem that can't be fixed by your tax preparer. Right. You as the taxpayer need to understand what your burden of proof is and how to keep those records. That's why my book is so important, How to Win Your Tax Audit. It takes you through the process of keeping these records so you don't have the problems in the first place.
And I'm assuming it's fairly simple to keep said tax records. You just hang on to the receipts, right?
Well, yeah, exactly right. It depends on what we're talking about, but for the most part, it is a very simple process. And sometimes it can be a little tedious, but it's just like any other habit you get yourself into. You save the records, you save the documents and so forth, so you got the proof. But the fact of the matter is you have to think of it like a part-time job, because the more documentation you have, the more money you're going to save on your taxes, so you actually think of yourself as getting paid to do the record keeping, because that's really what it amounts to.
All right, so let's tackle this this issue that's come up where everyone's tax return has been lower than it was last year, and everyone's screaming that the tax code overhaul was a giant Republican scam designed to help the wealthy. What's really going on?
Okay, well, first of all, the claims, which you repeated nicely, by the way, are just laced with complete nonsense. First of all, not everybody is getting a reduced tax refund. Right. The statistics that they're drawing from right now are based only on 10% of the tax returns that have been filed so far. So we still have 90% of the returns to go to see what the true averages work out to. That's number one. Number two, people need to understand that the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, the Trump Republican plan that was passed took effect January 1st, 2018, was a tax cut for 80%, the lowest 80% of income earners in the U.S. Only the top 20% are going to see an increase in their taxes. Now, that's been documented through one study after another, and I did my own studies, and we've showed conclusively that it's a tax cut for most Americans. The bottom 80% is most Americans. The other thing that happened here, and this is what people don't understand, and this is what the media is not telling the truth about. On January 1st, the IRS changed all the withholding tables, and those withholding tables were changed in such a way that less money was taken out of your paycheck every month. So what that means is your refund is lower because you didn't pay in as much to begin with. You don't get a refund because the government got religion and decided to give you free money.
Right.
You get a refund because you overpaid your taxes. Well, people aren't overpaying as much because the IRS wasn't taking as much to begin with.
When I was a teenager, I remember we get our taxes done, and it would be exciting because, man, I've got $700-800 coming back. Didn't have the brain power at that point to realize I've just given the federal government a tax-free or an interest-free loan, rather. And
yeah, you're exactly right. You couldn't be more correct. And I say this to people all the time. First of all, the average tax refund up until this year was just about $3,000. All right. Well, if you were a person that got the average tax refund, that means you paid about $275 a month, plus or minus, month in and month out in taxes you didn't owe. Right. And not only that, you're letting the IRS hold your money for over a year without paying you a nickel's worth of interest. And here's the worst part. By the time you do get your refund, you're 3 or 4 months into the next year, which means you already have paid in approximately $1,000 more that you don't owe by the time you get your refund back. You're never even with the IRS when you're overpaying your taxes. You're never even.
The people who aren't understanding this are the same people who agree with the whole, oh, yeah, we're getting a $15 minimum wage increase, and the same people who are, well, we weren't going to give Amazon $3 billion. So it's the same people who don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you have representatives like Ocasio-Cortez up there in Washington who are saying things like, this $3 billion that we've had sitting aside, we were going to give it to Amazon, so we're not doing that. Let's improve the subways. It seems that people, and even a lot of those in government now, have no idea how money and the system surrounding it even works.
The government likes to sit there and rape you and make you feel like you earned it.
You couldn't be more correct. I mean, I posted on my social media the other day. If you don't understand how taxes work, you got no business being in government. And we got so many people in government today that just do not understand how it works. And getting back to the tax refunds, people they don't seem to be able to wrap their heads around this idea that if you've got the money in your hands, you've got much more latitude to save or invest that money or to spend down your own debt. If you've got credit card debt or mortgage debt, you're infinitely better served by using the money to service that debt on a monthly basis than wait for a refund after 12, 14 months before you can get your refund.
And we're talking to Daniel Pilla. He's the author of How to Win Your Tax Audit. The tax code, how many pages is the IRS tax code now? Do you know?
Well, we don't even go by pages anymore because of the electronic versions of the code. But I'll tell you this, the National Taxpayer Advocate has done a word count on the tax code. And she says that the tax code is now reached the point where it's about 4 million words in length.
Wow. Good luck understanding that.
And that's not even the worst part, guys. The worst part is the tax code has been changed more than 5,900 times just since 2001 alone, and that doesn't even include the changes that were brought about by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in January of 2018. So the scope of the code is one thing, but the fact that Congress keeps stirring the pot year after year after year, that's what makes it so enormously complicated and difficult for people to navigate through and ever really understand what they're supposed to do.
Is that intentional? Is that by design now? So that, I mean, it's the old saying that the average person walking down the street is committing at least 3 or 4 misdemeanors every day. Is that by design so that the IRS can always jump in there and grab a little more of the taxpayers' cash? Or is it just
I think it is, and I've said that in exactly those words. I've been saying that for 40 years. As long as you don't understand what the law is and you don't understand what your rights are, you're an easy mark for the IRS. They can always step up, accuse you of doing something wrong, tell you that you're not allowed this deduction or that deduction, use bluff and intimidation to steal money from you that you don't owe. And it goes on every single day, and that's why my book, How to Win Your Tax Audit, is so important. I show you exactly how to push back against the bluffs and intimidations, and how to appeal an audit decision and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs.
So I have a quick question. What happens if you hear all these people talking about this? Let's all just stop paying our taxes. What happens if a mass wave of that happens?
Well, first of all, how's that going to happen when the fact of the matter is that 85% of every dollar, 85% of every federal dollar collected is not paid in per se by taxpayers. It's taken out of your paycheck by employers. And so, when you're working for somebody, which the vast majority of us have a W-2 job, working for somebody else, that money's coming right out of your paycheck. And, you just don't have the latitude to just stop paying.
Right. Well, when I had there were a few years when I was getting 1099s and had to write that check every quarter. And let me tell you, that hurts. That really hurts.
Painful. That's painful.
If more people had to do that.
Frankly, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if more people had to do that, there might be more of a revolt.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because the fact of the matter is, if we had to pay our taxes the same way we make our car payments or our mortgage payments, I'll tell you what, guys, it would take 1 year for people to realize how deeply the federal government has pushed its hands into people's pockets, and there would be a march on Washington. You talk about the Million Man March. That would be nothing compared to what you'd see happening, and that is exactly why they set up this withholding system in the 1940s the way they did, because they knew that people would never miss the money if it was taken from them a little bit at a time, as opposed to everybody having to write a check at the end of the year for their tax bill.
Is there a snowball's chance in hell of a flat tax or some revise or some revision of the entire tax code happening anytime in our lifetime?
Well, I don't know about that. I keep pushing for a national retail sales tax. I really think that that's the solution to the problem. A flat tax is still an income tax, and still requires all the reporting that we have to do, which is an abomination in my opinion.
Just any tax reform.
We keep pushing for it, but it's difficult to get it through.
Right. So it sounds to me like you don't believe that's ever going to happen then. I mean, once they've started to get your money, they're never going to give it up.
They don't want to give that money up, and you just look at the spending patterns of the federal government since the income tax really kicked in a big way in the 1940s. Once they got their hands on that money, of course, they used the reason of World War II, having to fund World War II as the reason for jacking up the income tax in the first place. So it wasn't until 1942 that the average American ever had any income tax responsibilities to begin with. And once Congress got its hands on that money, it never let go, and it's been worse and worse and worse every year.
I'm looking at the national debt clock at 22 trillion, 29 billion, 87 million as it continues to go up. It doesn't matter how much money they get from us, they continue to spend more.
It's just unbelievable. It's so reprehensible. It's so irresponsible. It's just not even fathomable how irresponsible this is.
Daniel Pill is the author of How to Win Your Tax Audit. Where can people buy your book? I'm assuming the usual route, the Amazons and all that?
Yeah, well, the best place to get it is right off my website, which is taxhelponline.com. That's all one word, no spaces of any kind. Right. Taxhelponline.com. And if you order my book off of my site, you'll get a 15-minute consultation directly with me, so I can talk to you about your situation directly if you go to taxhelponline.com and order the book, How to Win Your Tax Audit.
And a free puppy.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know about a puppy. I'd give you my wife's dog, but then she wouldn't let me in the house. So.
Are you on the Twitter or the Facebook?
Also? Yeah. We're on Twitter and Facebook and all the usual places out there. So you can just look for Dan Pill on all those places, and you can look up my social media posts, which we're on regularly, and in fact, I've been talking about this tax refund thing quite regularly on my social media posts.
If it's scary that the vast majority of people, and maybe this is just a very vocal minority of people that don't seem to understand exactly how money in the tax system works.
The majority of people don't understand it. Include me in that group. It's like they overwhelm us on purpose.
I think you're right. I think Yeah, I think it's the majority of people that don't understand, and that's somewhat understandable because people don't want to deal with this pain. Mm-hmm. There's nothing enjoyable about complying with the tax code. There's nothing enjoyable about keeping records and filling out these abominable tax forms that they create for us every year. There's nothing fun about it. Who wants to do that?
Nope.
The problem is you got an affirmative duty to comply with these laws, so you have to understand because you're the one that's ultimately responsible for penalties or interest if you get it wrong.
All right, thank you for joining us today, Dan. We certainly do appreciate it. And again, Dan is the author of How to Win Your Tax Audit. Go to taxhelponline.com, and we should have him back on the program again soon because he seems to know his stuff.
More education, and it's not a small percentage. It's a majority of the people out there are so overwhelmed. But again, once again, it's the concept of your government works for you. Mm-hmm. And here I'm going to give you the keys of the castle. Keep me safe, keep me protected, keep me walled up, and don't let any foreign or domestic terror against me. And I'm going to go live my life and contribute to it. And man, how many people bought into it? I argue with my mother. She's 69. I argue with her all the time about Social Security. I keep telling her, I'm not getting it.
The myth.
I'm not getting it. Well, yes, you are. You paid into it. But yeah. Your government did a great job letting you believe they were going to take care of you. And how much more proof do you need in today? When you get the AOCs and all this stuff out there, how much more proof do you need that your government is not taking care of you?
They shouldn't. And they shouldn't. And that's the thing. It's just people, or some people, want to be, it's the cradle to grave. Take care of me. I don't want to have to do anything.
I wouldn't mind being taken care of a little bit.
I wouldn't mind a little bit, but
opportunity. Take care of me in opportunities. Don't give me socialist programs. Don't give me a level playing field. Give me an opportunity. That's all I care about.
Cookies. Give me cookies.
Oh God, yes.
That would be nice.
Is that a euphemism though? Are you talking cookies?
Could
or
be.
Are you talking cookies?
Absolutely could be.
Daddy wants cookies.
Gays are canceled, sis. That was the tweet seemingly heard round the world. It was actually tweeted by, I think his name is Javon M. Hill. He goes just by Javon. They allowed the no homo emoji, and then they
hashtag no homo.
Then they banned the prominent gay influencer for using it. Javon Hill tweeted, "Gays are canceled." Twitter canceled him. They allowed the creation of a no homo emoji this week. It's basically just the rainbow flag with the big circle and the slash through it.
Sure.
He was one of hundreds of angry, they say, people who discovered it over the weekend and tweeted it out, and then they banned him.
Okay.
So I don't, again, people have lost any sense of humor. If anything is done out of hatred or out of, with animosity, I mean, I can call you a crock pot.
Yeah.
If I'm doing it,
I'm offended. I'm offended.
And remember,
what are you saying? I'm a pot of BS.
A crock.
Yeah.
The only way to not be offended is to
not be offended.
Not be offended. And so many people get butthurt so easily about so little.
Jussie Smollett, he's about to get butthurt.
Well, and then with him, he didn't do anybody any favors. He, a lot like President Obama and race relations, Jussie Smollett has now taken he's taken the...
so who has it? Who keeps sending this? Who keeps sending us back 100 years? Is it Trump or is it Obama? Is it Jussie Smollett? Mm-hmm. Is it Kathy Griffin? Is it all these leftists who are so quick to jump on this man's personality? I don't care what he does. I don't care about his personality. Trump he's a jag. He's uncouth. He's kind of slobbish a little bit in his dialogue, but that does nothing for the product of his work and work ethic. The other guys are all class X. We had the greatest orator in the history of the world next to Hitler, Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Barack Obama was the greatest orator speaker in the world, and he's the biggest mess.
Yeah. He left such a trail of racial tension.
Feces.
It's really, I don't know how they, and whether or not they know this, I don't know if Barack Obama knows that he did it or not, or if he feels like he did it for a reason.
He was like AOC. He was paid to do it. No way a freshman senator gets elected president, just like this woman here, someone's pulling her strings. No way a bartender gets elected senator. without somebody pulling her strings.
Wasn't she elected though with like 15,000 votes?
I don't know.
It was a very
Isaac,
very
would you
low
want to see
number.
her topless?
Yes, I do.
Why? Explain why. Is that a Latin thing? Like, because she's Latina and you're Hispanic? Is that the same thing?
Not really. I'm just tired of you messing with me about.
Oh, is that how that goes?
People actually believe in it, so yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying jackals actually believe that you don't like boobs?
No, there's people I have friends listening to this too, and then they're actually believing it. And
All
they're
right,
agreeing with
apparently.
you.
So the next time we have boobs up on screen, you got to leave them off.
Okay.
Thank you. Or leave them on. Excuse me. Leave them on.
Not only did Twitter allow the no homo emoji, there's now going to be the period emoji.
So are you talking?
The period emoji, it will be, I guess, this spring coming to a phone near you. It was created by Plan International UK. That's a children and girls advocacy organization in partnership with the NHS blood donation. 55,000 people supported the campaign. It is a red blood droplet emoji.
I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of you got to force your breastfeeding down my throat, force your period down my throat. If that's the case, I want to be able to. No, actually, I don't have anything in comparison for that because I pee in public anyways. But there's nothing.
Is that legal?
If you're caught, you have to find the proper angle not to get caught, and it's all about So here's something I do. If it's daytime and I got to drive around and I can't find a bathroom,
right?
So you find a parking lot, and what I do is I will stand in the V shape of my door being open on my car,
right?
So I'm blocked by my door and then my car. And then I will put both hands, one resting here and one resting there, and I will let the flow go. So that God forbid somebody comes by or a cop says, "What are you doing?" Just stretching my back. Yeah, that's all about that.
What's the stream headed away from your legs there? How do you explain that one away?
Where'd that come from?
It was there the whole time. A pro-abortion university staffer called for raping pro-life women. This is a great story. The Purdue University staff member, he was investigated after he allegedly threatened to rape pro-life women during an online debate about the campus pro-life club's campaign. The pro-life students were called the Purdue Students for Life group. They were facing apparently a big backlash after one of its members put up posters around the campus focused on how the abortion industry targets black women and their unborn babies for abortion.
Yeah.
There used to be billboards here just outside of Dallas, and I can't remember the verbiage, but I remember driving and going, wow, that is, and it said
Yes,
something
the
to
black
the fact
community
that
is the most affected by abortions.
abortion is healthcare too. It was something bizarre to the point
So that's indoctrination. Don't worry, just get pregnant. Don't worry.
Right.
We'll give you food stamps and government support, and then you can get rid of your kid. And the more kids you have, the more money you make. It is cultural brainwash, and they've been taken advantage of.
Well, this group on Purdue's campus put up in coordination with Black History Month, the posters read "Hands up, don't abort," and "Black children are an endangered race." And it was designed to be obviously pro-life for black babies,
Which is perfect. I'm 100% pro-life. I don't agree with abortion in any way, shape, or form.
So apparently on Monday, a group of the pro-abortion students and faculty, they held a sit-in protest during the Pro-Life's Club meeting. They demanded an apology. And then this guy tweets out, and his name is Jamie Gnuman. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make my intentions quite explicit. I did, in fact, offer to rape Tom's wife, daughter, great-grandmother, free of charge even. I'm generous that way. Here's the number for the West Lafayette Police Department. Here's the number for the local FBI office. Drop a dime. I could strike it any minute."
Okay.
That's what I mean.
There's a border between free speech and bad taste, and you're stupid.
Rule number 5.
You are stupid.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. By the way, the guy still refuses to apologize, but he did. He resigned. He says, "Yeah, I just quit." He wrote in an email to the newspaper, "Tell the world." Purdue spokeswoman Julie Rosa said they accepted his resignation, which they believe is the appropriate outcome to the situation.
Yeah, that's not bad.
What a scumbag.
He was trying to make a point. He went the wrong way about it.
Yeah, it's just, again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And, oh, yeah, by the way, rule number 1, don't be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a flagrant violation of rule number 1 and rule number 5. Can we all not just get along? Damn it. One way to get along, of course, is to not be bloated. Maybe he was just bloated. Maybe he was having a bad bloated day. Maybe his tummy was not doing so well. Maybe he had bad gut health and it was causing him to be a dick.
What can you do about that, Uncle Brad?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You go to lovemytummy.com. You can find out why gut health is becoming more and more. Every time I say that, it sounds funny. Gut health. But it really is quite serious. They've linked poor gut health to depression. They've linked it to all sorts of disorders within, but not being able to lose weight, not being able to sleep at night, sleeping too much.
I have those problems.
It could be your gut. Okay, we need to get you the bottle. We said we was going to do that yesterday.
Which one?
Love my Atrantil.
Okay.
I know there's a bottle around here somewhere.
We can find that.
And essentially what this does, it was developed by a gastroenterologist, Dr. Brown, Dr. Ken. He comes in here on occasion. And it's one of those things where you, when I first saw it, I was like, why do I need this? It looks like it's for IBS. And I don't have IBS.
How do you know?
Don't you know if you have IBS?
I think that
I would think I don't know. I've never, maybe I do have it. I just didn't know it. But if you feel bloated, if you feel uncomfortable, if you've got issues, I mean, if it could
those
be.
are all symptoms that sneak as if they were IBS.
Mm-hmm. Go to lovemytummy.com and find out why it all could be a relatively, I'm not going to say simple fix because, well, it's as easy as swallowing a couple of tablets a day. Or to every meal. It's not a probiotic. It is clinically proven. It targets the problem bacteria in your gut. And I swear to you, that's what, with me and sugar, that's it. I think it's a buildup of yeast.
Inflammation and your stomach's going to swell.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't want to digest. And again, I'm not afraid of dying. It's the pain part.
You know what? I want to go like Elvis, either in my sleep or Elvis. Please.
I just want to.
Please. Because you know what? I want the joke to be on whoever finds me.
I just want to disappear in a puff of smoke. Just poof one day. Go to lovemytummy.com and see if Atrantil might do the job for you. How about those tweets? They coming in?
Yeah. Kool-Aid with a C says that has to be fake story, Brad. Everyone knows that the left is for peace and love. It's the right who are violent or not. So I think he was talking about the guy who said he wants to rape. Yeah, Larky effing Farkin says so Izzo can't be caught for indecent exposure unless it's everyone carrying a microscope. It's okay.
Izzo's penis.
That's right.
Rule number 1.
You see how that goes,
ass.
Isaac? Everybody thinks you don't like boobs, and everyone thinks I'm carrying a penis the size of a 3-month-old. Well, 3 months old penis, but I am carrying the size of a 3-month-old.
Your Izzo's penis Twitter account just said, "I'm always in violation of rule number 1."
Of course.
See? Well, Izzo's penis gets a lot of tweets in there.
Gets a lot of action.
And Toby McAvoy over there on the Twitter, getting offended is a learned behavior. I wish people would stop attending those classes. Yeah, if fewer people would get butthurt, the society would be a whole lot better off. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. All right, we will continue with your Daily Mojo. I think Chef Patrick is in the house. We might even have some Mojo wild rice. I hope. This is your Daily Mojo.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. Hamich Thomason. A Coast Guard lieutenant from Maryland, he was arrested on gun and drug charges just last week, is suspected of being a domestic terrorist.
Prosecutors allege in court papers that Christopher Paul Hassan drafted an email discussing biological attacks and had an apparent hit list that named, among others, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senators Kirsten Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, and Kamala Harris.
Correspondent Mike Rossier says Hassan, due in court today, authorities say they found 15 firearms and about 1,000 rounds of ammo in his basement. Quoting sources, a couple of news outlets report the long-running Russia investigation will be wrapped up soon, perhaps as soon as next week. Attorney General William Barr now overseeing the Russia probe. Chicago police will be holding a news conference on the curious case of an actor who claimed that he was assaulted by Couple of thugs wearing red Make America Great Again hats.
Empire star Jussie Smollett surrendered to Chicago police early this morning. He faces a charge of making a false police report when he said he was attacked last month by two men who hurled racist and anti-gay slurs and looped a rope around his neck. The charge could bring up to 3 years in prison. It could also force the 36-year-old actor to pay for the cost of the police investigation into the alleged assault. Authorities will hold a news conference this morning. Smollett is due in court later today. I'm Matt Small.
As the upper Midwest and Northeast recover from a powerful winter snow and ice storm, parts of the deep South having to deal with devastating flooding, numerous roads have been closed all across the South. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a lower open in about a half hour. Right now, Dow futures down 35 points, S&P futures off 5, NASDAQ futures 11 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You get great service and you do some good in the world with Patriot Mobile. Sign up for a Patriot Mobile account today. Start saving money, get great coverage, and do a little bit of good because they support companies, organizations, and candidates that you like. It's patriotmobile.com/doc. patriotmobile.com/doc.
Hi there. This is Watson Prunier, host of Battle for Freedom on MoJo 50 Radio. Battle for Freedom is an endeavor about freeing people from the illusion of tribalism. Tribalism is the political presupposition that remains as one of the biggest anchors to gridlock and stalemate in society today. Most people do not even realize how they are tied to their ethnicity, their gender, sexual preference, and political party. Most conservatives believe that identity politics is solely an issue with liberals, and that's furthest from the truth. That's why I broadcast live on MoJo 50 Radio, Mondays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is to reach anyone willing to be set free with the truth. Tell your friends about this Caucasianly challenged Christian host on MoJo 50 Radio. Battle for Freedom, Mondays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Ladies, some of you sickos willingly accept that with the big doe eyes that you don't even need from a Snapchat filter and just look up at R. Kelly and say, give me your best.
The Rants of Izzo. United 7. MoJo 50.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Rebel rousers, instigators, troublemakers, freaks, agitators, fanatics, scallywags, mutants, scamps, firebrands, rogues, scoundrels, MoJo sexuals. MoJo 50.
The mothership has landed.
DMXDM tweeted, I don't want the Doc commercials to stop, but it still hurts to hear them. Yeah. I know what you mean. I'm still cleaning up his messes myself.
So is Amtrak.
That boy had more underpants. I have never seen somebody have.
Where are you going? Where are you going with
I don't know. I think Doc had an underpants obsession because he had a lot of them.
Are we building any kind of connection to where I'm going to start getting 2 a.m. text messages of like short videos of you parading around Tom Cruise style, in his underwear?
That's absolutely possible. How much
I don't
money
mind
you
that.
got?
I don't. I was
because I don't do it for free.
Was hoping that would be a significant branch in our relationship.
It could. It quite possibly could be. I just need some Benjamins first. The transformation of the MoJo Mobile, and we still have to. We're still going to do a Facebook Live cleaning Doc's car out, but I've been thinking, and I have to go over this with everybody, but when the transformation of the MoJo Mobile is complete and we auction it off, it is going to be epic. Haven't decided if it would be better just to leave it nasty inside. And here, it's like, you want to buy Doc's car, and here it is because this is in all of its glory as he sat in it, so on.
Smell.
Or we really want to trick it out, pimp that sucker out.
Here's the problem with anytime you do something like that. The problem is usually the effort and the passion you put into it, you're going to want to keep it.
Yeah, that's true. And
that's the problem.
We always did that as kids. We'd buy a car, and then we just before we went to sell it, we'd like pimp it out just so we could sell it, and then we just like, man, I don't want to sell it. It's so cool. But so I if you own a body shop and you're in this area in the Dallas-Fort Worth area,
sure,
and you would like to, for a little trade in a little barter. We talk about you on the air, and you maybe fix up the body of the car and make it all pretty.
Do videos. You could kind of take some videos as you go.
Absolutely. Just send an email to beth@mojo50.com. beth@mojo50.com. Because that way it'll actually get read. If you send it to me, I will not. I think I have 5,000 emails in my inbox.
You said box.
I did say box. 5,000, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm the worst. Email is so last year.
Imagine all the Nigerian princes who have been trying to send you money and have failed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I smell food.
This is fantastic.
I smell food.
Is that bacon?
No.
Okay.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Patrick is in the room. What is that?
That's love on a dish.
Oh, my.
Look at the presentation.
Oh, I know what that is.
You guys can't see right now, but Chef Patrick walked in with some epic, gorgeous food, comida.
And Chef Patrick, of course, from our sister network across the hallway there, Spoonie.com.
You smell that?
We are the redheaded stepsister. You have to say that right.
Oh, you know what they say about redheaded stepsisters?
Wait. You're just diving in without any of the presentation?
Oh, that's okay. Eat it.
Yeah, okay.
But here, I got syrup and Cholula as well.
Who's getting their salad tossed?
Oh. So, do you know what it is yet?
Is this a
Yes, exactly.
What do you suggest, Chef Patrick?
It's a Nostalgia wild rice waffle.
What do you suggest?
Oh man, because I thought that's what it might be.
I tried first. It's pretty good without anything on there.
This is just the waffle for the Nostalgia. By the way, this is all brought to you by MoJoWildRice.com.
Holy shit!
MoJoWildRice.com.
Oh
is that not?
It's phenomenal,
I
right?
know.
It doesn't suck.
It does not suck.
This is unreal.
It's the reason we keep Patrick around. It's not for his charm and his stunning good looks.
When I think my job's in jeopardy, I actually feed the
partners
around here.
And that works each and every time. This is amazing.
So, they make this wild rice polenta mix, and they have a couple different flavors. This one is actually garlic and herb, but there's a recipe on there to make, you serve it as a side dish. You can add some Parmesan to it, maybe. It's not quite as creamy as a regular polenta. You could add some cream to it or something if you want to, but it's super healthy.
Right.
Well, all I did is you follow the directions. You add, you whip up some eggs. You add a little bit of flour. I actually used, if you used a regular wheat-based flour, it would be a little bit lighter, but I like this density. I used the Nostalgia, their cultivated wild rice flour. So you just mix that in. You put in a little bit of baking powder to make them fluffy, salt, pepper, and away you go. I put in a touch of sugar.
You put a lot of love in this too.
I did.
So
I did a Facebook Live on my page. Hopefully, drive some of my friends to MoJo.
And they're. How can these people? How can Jack Hole see your page?
It's Patrick Mosier, or you can just go to Spoonie Radio.
Okay.
Go to Spoonie Radio. I'll push the video over that way.
So the waffle itself is made from wild rice?
Yeah, so they actually have this wild rice flour mix that they add the other seasoning and ingredients to. But by the way, I made a planned chicken and waffles. I put some rotisserie chicken, smoked rotisserie chicken. I shredded that up and put it in the waffle.
The only time I've had chicken and waffles is the potato chips.
And then the egg we call liquid chicken is liquid chicken on top there, fried up.
This is really
not bad. You put a little Cholula or the syrup on there. You could have it for breakfast, for dinner, for lunch. Depends on if you want sweet or savory.
Okay, you see what I'm saying now? You don't know you're eating.
No,
it's
rice.
Not,
I had no idea.
It's not rice.
No idea.
It's a grain. It's hard to explain.
Well, you kept referencing polenta, and as an Italian, I've never had that. Never had it.
What? Oh, we got so we'll make some regular polenta, right? With it's just cornmeal. It's like grits almost, a little finer.
And grits are fabulous too.
Yeah.
I had grits for the first time ever in my life at Waffle House. He's like, "What do you want as your side?" Because I drove down here. He's like, "Well, you get blah 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 grits." And I'm like, "What are grits?" Gave me a side of it. Oh God, I could have died.
Oh, it's so good.
It was
amazing.
amazing.
Is good stuff.
Cheese grits are incredible too. This is amazing.
You could do this, like I said, they have a cranberry mix, like cranberry and Yeah, it's just cranberry, but you could do it as a sweet breakfast cereal. The breakfast cereal, right? You could make that into waffles. It's delicious. I'll be honest, I've never made these before. It was the first time. And as a chef, this is the one thing you don't do. I'll give you 2 big chef tips for the home cook as well. Never, there you go. Never, ever, ever serve anything at a party or publicly for the first time if you've never made it before.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
And number 2 is read the ingredient list fully. So I read the recipe last night. I did not make an ingredient list, and I forgot to pick up baking soda, so I had to run out this morning. That's why I'm sweating. I ran up the stairs, threw the waffles in there, but it's pretty good.
Got your exercise.
Yeah.
So anyway. Let's talk about the food trends that apparently are going to be around in 2019. The first one is self-care.
Well, self-love's been around for a long time, hasn't it?
That, yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll make some more. I have enough to make like 12.
Okay, you eat faster than Doc. How the hell did you do that?
That's damn good.
Wow, I still got half of mine left. All right, so self-care when it comes to food.
Well, I think what we're doing is we're taking the power back to ourselves as far as what we eat and how we eat. We're taking more control of that. We're learning through books, seminars, online courses. Show ourselves a little love.
It's kind of like what Gwen was saying. Gwen Rich from the Rich Solution. Sorry, but talk about my mouthful.
What a great segment, by the way. That was an excellent interview. I listened to the whole thing.
It's about putting the right food in your body. We eat so much junk, and I'm absolutely guilty of it myself. I'm a sugar.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm
is that
on
Pop-Tart?
I'm on the newest fad diet. It's called the Thin Mint diet. It's that time of year.
Yeah. And then I'm not likely going to give up Thin Mints anytime soon.
I did that just for one, by the way.
So I should probably, learn how to actually self-care with better food. I'm doing that as we go along. I'm trying to do better. So that's that's going to stick around in this year.
Yeah, I think so. And everybody's still saying, "What's he doing on his phone?" Well, Brad sent me this article this morning.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't take the time to read it because he was busy.
Everything on this, no, but everything. See, I don't understand why are people like, well, you're on your phone because you got 20 different media things going on here, constant communication, adding to the show, and it's always better if you look at something organically in the moment. I like people. Brad is ultra prepared. I'm gonna put on my underwear 2 seconds before I walk in the studio. So be unprepared. It's organic.
Well, and I know most of these trends. I've seen them, not all of them, most of them. And,
drinking water with meals is number 2.
Are you supposed to do that or not supposed to do that?
These are trends they say are going to catch on in 2019.
I heard you were not supposed to do that because your food will not digest.
Doesn't digest properly. So if you think about when you drink water, I'm kind of that train of thought. When you drink water, think about how quickly it passes through you, right? You have to. I mean, if you drink a half gallon of water,
you seen how many times I use the bathroom? Yeah.
He is a peer. Yeah. He's a frequent peer.
I thought that was Ron's voice when you said that, actually. But yeah, so I think that way, but there is some moisture needed for digestion. So as long as you're not like drinking a gallon of water while you're eating the food, I think you're fine. But it does help you feel more full.
Right.
I think a better approach to that is typically if you feel hungry, a lot of times you're just thirsty. So if you just drink a glass or 2 of water.
That's never worked for me. If I'm hungry and I drink water, it's like
hungry 5 minutes later.
Still hungry,
I'm still hungry.
Still hungry,
and I still want a cookie.
You can't chew the water.
Right. Exactly. So
you can, but
so again, in moderation, you're saying we drink because you can drown if you drink too much water. So drink water in moderation with your meal.
I mean, 90% of us walk around dehydrated all the time.
Right.
To be honest.
What do they say when your mouth feels dry, you're already dehydrated?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Eating with your eyes. The tendency to eat with your eyes will continue. According to the market agency Mintel, consumers are increasingly looking for food to be a sensory experience.
That's sales. That's just
sell
sales.
the sizzle, not the steak.
Well, that's really the fame that Instagram has become, right?
The aroma, the texture.
Yeah, but also everything is like this aesthetic. It has to be aesthetically pleasing. I don't know.
I try to pick my women based on Instagram and my eyes
and texture.
But when you get them in person, you're like, oh, really?
Right?
Really?
That's why they make dimmer switches. As long as they smell good, it's okay.
Okay.
They say that the objective is none other than being able to share the consumption experience on Instagram.
Exactly.
What are we going to do when the internet goes out? We are going to be
anywhere.
We are going to be a lost
be
bunch
very,
of humans.
very bored.
We are headed for virtual reality every day. It's not going to go anywhere.
We're one step in front of the other. We're going to end up being those big glowing balls of energy.
We are going to be the robots.
I was talking to somebody the other day. They gave me their 3 kind of bullet points for life. One is if you're tired, go to bed.
Yes.
Number 2 is if you're bored, read something. and I forgot what number 3 was, but those really stuck with me.
That was my auto shop teacher, Frank Dreys. When you eat, you sleep, you drink,
exactly.
you focus on what you're doing.
You are amazing at remembering names.
No, I'm not.
Oh my!
No, I'm not.
You remember the criminal activity with the 6-year-olds you were doing. You're fantastic.
Well, that's because of the forms I had to fill out. Fusion menu. They say by 2019, some food observatories predict that culinary influences from the Middle East will increase. This, they say, could explain spices such as cardamom,
fenugreek,
and za'atar. So is that so the Middle Eastern influence on foods is going to continue?
Yeah, so I think we've seen an increase in things like Ethiopian food on menus. These,
which always sounds funny when you say it because you think of Ethiopia.
That was a joke. Yeah, how many?
What was it? What was the joke that Chris Rock said? Nobody shies away from the fat kid in Africa. They follow him home.
Right.
But it's you're seeing these ethnic flavors more so from the Middle East and parts of Africa we haven't seen. Also places like the Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, those Baltic states.
Right.
That haven't been popular thus far. We're kind of exploiting those. Those flavors are big and bold and earthy.
Like curry.
Like curry. Like curry. Exactly.
In Irving, Texas, there is an abundance of people who enjoy curry.
Oh, yeah. No, we got that in Chicago area.
Can you tell when you drive?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I lived in
weed, too.
Lived in an apartment, and
it's pungent.
There is, when we walk up the stairs and the dryer vents are right there, and you get the mixture of curry and dryer sheets.
That's overpowering.
Wow.
Curry and dryer, that's one I have not had the luxury of.
Oh, man, it is not what I would call an appetizing smell.
But Indian as well. Indian food is going to become really popular.
And I like Indian food.
I do too.
It's
curries are wonderful.
Curry and dryer sheets do not mix. Fourth meal. It's not about gluttony. They say it's about adapting our meal times to our busy lives.
That will never happen. Who the heck has any time for that? It's just, I understand the premise behind that. It's just never going to happen.
Well, but fourth meal can happen any time, right? I mean, it could be.
Yeah. So I used to do the Body for Life program.
Oh my God, Bill Phillips.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
And what's his cousin's name? Ryan?
I don't know. It was Bill.
He was the model in the book.
Bill and his brother. It was Sean Phillips.
Sean Phillips, thank you.
Bill and Sean Phillips were brothers, yeah.
And so, but I love that program. It was 5 small meals, basically. So you have a piece of protein the size of the palm of your hand, a starch about the size of your fist, and then the rest of the plate could be vegetables. But
I got to eat until I'm full.
Well, isn't it better? I mean, it's better for your body if you don't fill your stomach up with anything at one given point, right? I mean, it can digest more easily if you're not crammed full of food.
Well, I mean, also the large
feeling.
Yeah, the more you expand your stomach, the larger it is for the next meal.
That's
and the more
pre-gaming. That's pre-gaming for Thanksgiving. Absolutely. They're starting. They talk about
pre-gaming. I get to write that pre-gaming for Thanksgiving.
They talk about that on bodybuilding forums on Instagram now. That some guys are doing one giant meal versus 5. So everything's a friggin' theory. I just love to eat.
Well, what's the warrior diet, like the Roman warrior diet, right?
Roman war helmet.
Well, no, they
something completely different.
No, so like MMA fighters like Ronda Rousey, some other fighters, they would basically just have very small snacks throughout the day, a little bit to get through their workout in the morning, like some fruits and nuts, things like that. But then you have a huge meal at the end of the night. And the theory was that Roman warriors didn't have a chance to eat during the day; they only had one big meal at night, and it kept them fit. But you also have to think. They were, killing people and marching 20 miles.
But food wasn't as polluted as it is today.
And it wasn't also
preservatives and right. So that
speaking of killing people, healthy food. Although half of Europeans and Americans follow some kind of diet, what they start to take away is making healthy choices. This is according to a head chef at the Waitrose Cookery in Salisbury, Great Britain. They say diet foods exclude food that are losing. Diet foods that exclude food are losing popularity. The demand for healthy food continues to increase above 2 digits. So healthier food, I guess.
In Salisbury, I love their steak.
God, that was lunchroom. That was Friday lunchroom. Was either pizza or Salisbury steak.
Salisbury steak is just what do you call it? Chop steak, right?
What's the other one?
It's a hamburger with gravy.
That's right.
It's a hamburger with gravy, and it's an oval.
But healthy food. That's not a bad idea. I mean,
so look at the picture above that fourth meal photo.
Yeah.
So we were recently in the airport up in Ohio, and do you remember that vending machine that we saw in Chicago? We saw the vending machine.
Yeah, the salads.
Okay, this vending machine. There was this big crate. I hate this damn word. There was a craze for a while that you make a salad in a jar, you put your dressing in the bottom, and then you carry it with you. Yeah. It's kind of hard to shake it up in the jar. So what you do is you mix it in the bowl when you get to work.
Right.
But it's easy to transport. Well, we saw that vending machine that had whole like grain salads. Some had like shredded chicken, the grain, the dressing on the bottom. It had all sorts of leaf vegetables and other bright green and red vegetables in there.
Right.
It was amazing. I've never seen anything like that before. It was like walking into a Whole Foods prepared foods counter with all these salads, but unmixed and in the jar. And it's all plastic containers that are recyclable.
Right.
And it was awesome. But I think we're seeing that. Look at Instagram. Look at all the photos. About 80%, 90% are all fairly healthy.
Who's
low
got
fat.
time for this?
But again, it's a good idea. It's common. All of these ideas are common sense.
There's some things you can do that you can prep. Like on Sundays, I used to cook a whole sheet pan of chicken breast.
Okay.
So I just sprinkle them with olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, a little paprika, bake them in the oven at 350 for like 30 minutes, let them cool, and then I put them in baggies of 2 packs.
Do you agree with, I read higher temperature, lower cook time is moister chicken.
Yeah, depending on what you're cooking.
Okay.
So on if it's a big fat chicken breast.
Well, that's what everything is now. Purdue and
Yeah.
more hormones pumped in your food.
Right.
Exactly. But if you do that on the thicker ones, and the outside gets really dry before the inside cooks, so it just depends on how. But yes, if you can do it that way, higher temperature, a little less time, but just don't overcook it.
Okay.
And then I just dice it up or slice it up as I need it, saute it in a pan or put it on a salad or whatever, and that made it easy. And then like wild rice, like for instance the MoJo wild rice, you can cook a lot of that. I mean, you saw how much I cooked for the Black Friday event.
Yeah.
I cooked 8 pounds, I think, which makes like 40 pounds of rice, by the way. We used about about half of that in the sauteed dishes I did that day.
And that keeps
and the grain bowls.
What, 6 months in the freezer?
Well, actually, if you put it in a freezer bag, like the double seal Ziploc gallon baggies or 2-quart bags, they'll last for, if you get the air out, probably 2 months. 60 days is fair.
All right. Well, that's not bad.
But you can cook it at the beginning of the week on Sunday night when I used to bake the chicken, and just have it throughout the week. You don't need to make a lot of it.
I guess we're learning. I'm just lazy.
We already knew.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's been convenient.
Food prep is
It can take some time, but if you consolidate it, do all your shopping at once if you can.
I shop when I'm hungry. That's the problem.
Every worst time.
I know it, and I know it is.
I do the same thing.
Well, here's the problem. If I fill up, now I don't want to eat. Now I don't want to go shopping. I want to sit on my ass and watch TV. But if I'm let's go shopping for food.
You're a simple man.
I did.
There's
My
nothing wrong
father
with
used to run grocery stores when I was a kid. So he Cub Foods was big up in the Midwest. And we used to go there, and it was a free for all. I mean, one of the biggest treats was you got to eat Entenmann chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
My mother would give us those as kids.
Freihoffers and Entenmann's.
So I would eat while we shopped.
Either.
So it's shopping's been ruined for me for years.
The next trend is don't throw anything away. And again, more common sense.
Well,
leftovers essentially.
Well, I mean, we used to have a use for the lid of a mayonnaise jar, but now we can use a whole jar. You reuse it as a storage container. A lot of people are making their own broths, bone broth, soups, things like that.
Izzo makes his own broth.
That's called bath water.
There you go.
Just don't throw the baby out. But yeah, you can
pull out first.
Yeah, you can use any container that you've gotten from the store. I mean, did your parents? My mother was notorious for taking the country crock butter thing and using it as a storage container.
Always. We had a cabinet full of Country Time and Country Crock and all of those others.
But the good thing is when you go to someone's house and you take something and you leave that there,
you're not worried about getting
disappointed
it back.
about I just spent $2.
But after a while they picked up a smell.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Eating alone, table for one. That seems to be a trend that they say is going to hang around in 2019 as well.
I have been doing. I go to a bar by myself and eat. I enjoy that because I don't have to talk to anybody.
See?
I like that. I go to movies by myself. I eat by myself. I like that because I don't like people.
I do the same. I hate when somebody talks during the movie. Well, if you ask one question, if you ask one question or something or two questions, but look, I've never seen the movie. I'm trying to figure it out as well.
Exactly.
But I like to dine alone as well. If I'm
it's
traveling,
more enjoyable.
I sit at the bar, and I'm not like a chatty Cathy to the bartender. I might say, "Hey, how you doing? What's your favorite thing?" Here's another thing.
What are you doing later?
What are you doing? No.
Can I have a key to your room?
No.
And by the way, is your name Bob?
Want to go camping? But I never ask them what should I order because that implies what is the most popular dish on the menu. I say
or there's something they're trying to get rid of too, aren't they?
Possibly, but
specials.
Yeah, they might be trying to push a special. But I will usually ask the server or the bartender, "What's your favorite thing on the menu, and why do you like it?" And then I order that usually.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, until you get the picky eater, and they're
do
like,
you
"I don't
vary
really
when you repeat restaurants? Do you get the same thing, or do you vary it up?
If it's a restaurant I go to a lot, then I vary what I eat at the beginning. The first 4 or 5 visits, and then I narrow it down to what I really like, and then I just eat that.
Like, are you a food snob? Are you? Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean, if I look, I can't afford to throw stuff away or not
Okay.
eat it. So if I don't like it or enjoy it thoroughly, I'll still eat it. I just make a mental note and I don't go back to that establishment. However, there's a local place I need to go back to here where we've had several really terrible experiences, including Thanksgiving last year.
Oh yeah, what's the name of that place?
Humperdinks.
Humperdinks.
Sorry, Humperdinks, man. I got to call you out. We've had like 4 bad visits in a row.
Yeah.
I'd love to have somebody from the company come in, and I'll give you a training regimen on how to work in your
Oh my
staffing.
God, that's fantastic.
Sorry.
Clear labels. Consumers want to know the real story behind their food and the path a product takes from its origins to the store.
Do you trust that though? I mean, I could say X, Y,
I
and Z.
don't really
Yeah,
care, but apparently, is that a trend? I mean, is that
Well, I
something-
think transparency and well, it goes to menu items in the restaurant as well. You want to know what's in your food. And we have a lot of technology now that can help us find out exactly what's in your food. So I've developed products that go on a shelf a lot of times.
Did you see the woman in New York who ran the Chinese restaurant who was snatching up pigeons at the park? She literally, somebody caught her on video because it was a rumor for years, and she's feeding pigeons until they got close to her, and whoosh, she just nabbed them right up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Put them in a bag, and people wouldn't complain. See, we told you she was doing this.
Pigeons are good for what
They call
else?
city chickens.
Thank you.
City chickens. Yep.
In France, it's fancy. It's called squab. I mean,
it's
the English name.
no different than eating a chicken.
If she was fast enough to catch a bird, imagine what else people ate.
So I don't want to know if that's in my food, but otherwise,
it is important because the way that foods have been modified over the years, the hormones, the other unhealthy ingredients. It's important to know for reasons for allergies. Just there are a ton of reasons, and you want to know what you're putting in your body. We're becoming more conscious of that, but there's a lot of technologies to help with that now. Like I brought a bunch of products to market before, and with the first thing you do is you send a sample of the product off to a testing facility, and they generate the label on the back. You can do it yourself, but it's better if you go to a third party, give them the recipe, and then they can break down if there's any other contaminants that could come from the ingredients that are in there, so you can switch those out.
Well, and again, you always know what you're going to get when you go to MoJoWildRice.com because you're getting the incredible wild rice from the Northwoods of Minnesota and the waffler sample pack, which we did enjoy this morning. It's absolutely incredible.
That was fantastic.
I'm going to do did you tell them about the special?
$20, same as done. No, what special?
Go to MoJoWildRice.com. They have a special on their waffle mixes right now, and I think it's running for the next 60 days.
Excellent.
I'd like to tell you exactly what that is. I need to put my glasses on and pretend I'm just typing something on Instagram. I'll look it up. But actually, they're going to be in town here.
Got 20 seconds.
Yep, they're going to be in town soon. We're going to do a live interview, and she's going to call in, I think, next week. Do a live interview as well.
And they can listen to your show, The Food Biz Pro, on Spoonie Radio coming up this afternoon at
3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. That'd be noon on the West Coast. So,
yeah.
Chef Patrick, the Food Biz Pro. You can follow him on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Thanks for being here, and
Thank
thanks
you
for
so much for
making
that.
the waffles.
That was fantastic.
Very well.
Your Daily Mojo continues next.
By the Numbers with Andrew Coppins is powered by TarRiverArms.com. They've revolutionized online firearm sales with high-resolution pictures, 3D imaging, and the best prices. How much will you save? Find out at TarRiverArms.com. That's TarRiverArms.com.
If you're like me, chances are you've heard the phrase, money just doesn't grow on trees, a time or two from your parents while growing up. Apparently that message never got to the socialists who are proposing things like Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, taxpayer-funded higher education, and the like. They clearly haven't been paying attention to the fact that we can't even pay for the bills we're racking up right now. Just how bad are things today? Well, you've likely heard that we've topped $22 trillion for the national debt. That means every citizen needs to pony up $67,000, or every taxpayer owes just over $179,000 just to clear out our current national debt. But it's the numbers beyond just that awful number that should really scare every politician in D.C. Take, for instance, the fact that our total unfunded liabilities number is a whopping $122 trillion and counting, according to the debt clock. To put that number in perspective, to pay for the promises the government has made, every taxpayer in the United States would owe just over $1 million right now. I don't know about you, but I don't have an extra million just laying around. Speaking of 1 million, we currently add $1 million in unfunded liabilities every 4 seconds. Those socialists running also believe cutting spending to our military will magically solve all of our problems. But did you know that both Medicare and Social Security account for more of our federal spending than the military? Individually, they account for $1 trillion in spending. Combined, they account for nearly twice as much as military spending in a given year. At some point soon, all of this is going to blow up in our faces. We can't keep promising payments and not having the money coming in to make said payments. Yet, the Democrats see nothing wrong with these Ponzi schemes being expanded even further. Isn't socialism dumb? This has been By the Numbers. I'm Andrew Coppins, and you can find me on Twitter at The Coppins Show.
The Daily Mojo.
I get your comments in, as always, on the Twitter. Use the hashtag #WhatILearnedToday, and we will, at some point, we're going to bring back the show close. It's as soon as I can figure out exactly what it was that Doc did over here. And you know, when somebody leaves you with a whole bunch of work, it's really irritating.
And apparently underwear.
And yeah, a lot of work and underwear. It continues to baffle me. But let's see, over on the Twitter, Lori F&D, Food Biz Pro, and I would travel well. Yeah, you'd both talk each other's ear off. Just peachy. Dominick Izzo needs a prepper. Wait, that's a fluffer. Carry on.
Hey, taking applications now.
Which Twitter handle do you use more, Dominick Izzo or Rants of Izzo?
I started using Rants of Izzo more because I want it to be a little bit more inappropriate. I think I put my my description. Hang on, I updated my description last night because there's still part of me that, you know, I mean, people search me. I still have the law enforcement background, so when I do get asked to give speaking events, I don't want this to be out there. But on the
are you kidding? Of course it's going to be out there.
I understand that. I know, and you know that may give me more speaking engagements. But apparently on the Rants of Izzo, I changed the profile narrative to caveman, sexist, poop humor, red meat, bacon, cigars, hookers, and your mom.
Kind of sums it up.
That's everything I want.
All right, so I just discovered this yesterday, and you say it's been around for a while. Autonomous sensory meridian response, known more commonly as ASMR.
Yes, Brad.
It's really weird. And
picture me just
before,
my nails.
Here's an example of it.
Days ago, I feel like I recognize your voice, right? It was you. Okay. So, can I have your name, please?
You got to get the good ones where they're talking dirty.
Okay.
And she may. I'm kind of keeping an eye. But so you hear her whispering.
Yes, and it's designed to have stuff that like say if somebody was whispering in your ear, the hairs in the back of your neck would stand up, and you'd have sensitive. Oh my God!
Yeah, hang on a second. Hold on. There's a better one. Let me.
Is that her with different color hair?
Let's do this one.
I don't care about that. What is she doing?
So
is that the same girl?
No.
Hi there.
Hi.
It's me.
Hi. Where have you been?
Well, I rested from the Halloween videos, and now I'm ready for making.
Oh, she is the foreign ladies. You pay for me the $20. I give for you the pleasures.
So this is what these videos are all about, and some of them go on literally for hours.
Yes. It's enunciation. So when you hear somebody articulate, you ever hear somebody like literally articulate? I'm trying to think of an actor who enunciates and articulates all of their words. Like if you use the word exactly, I'm going to say exactly. But people will say exactly.
Exactly.
So when you get that enunciation of words, it does cause a little bit of a stimulus. So these people are now adding in soft-spoken, soft approach, and it's stimulating.
They say that it's all about ambient sounds. People claim it gives them braingasms, tingling sensations in their heads and necks. There literally are thousands of these videos on YouTube. During the Super Bowl, there was an entire ad dedicated to it, starring Zoe Kravitz, and I think
don't know who she is.
I think this is it right here.
Well,
at
is
the
that Lenny
top.
Kravitz's daughter?
I don't know. Listen to this one.
I was on the set of a movie set with her once.
Let's all experience something together.
Crickets or her nails?
This place, so pure, you can feel it.
On a beer bottle.
Okay.
That's a beer bottle rolling around.
Okay.
This beer, so pure, you can taste it.
Okay.
Michelob ultra pure gold.
Piss water.
And you can hear the wind.
Beer.
See, now I'm kind of tired.
Okay, so this is what people are listening to.
Yes.
And IKEA did one as well. IKEA did one. It's part of a campaign that they called
You will not be able to put our shit together, and you will be pissed off.
The weird thing about this one is that she doesn't whisper well. And this is part of it's called Oddly IKEA.
Welcome to IKEA ASMR, or as we like to call it, Oddly IKEA. Today we're showing you how you can make your perfect college dorm room with IKEA's many perfect solutions.
Is this like getting
A
people all
relaxing place
tingly
to end a
right
stressful day
It's,
of being a
it's just
student.
supposed to sit there and
Let's start with
stimulate you.
making the perfect bed.
But does it work when it's a commercial for
Look
making?
at how
Well, that's
well the
you're supposed to be. Anything is supposed to tie you in with some type of invested emotion. You got your five senses, and this one is stimulating like touch. It's actually very brilliant. You
How
think
is it
about-
stimulating your
be-
touch?
because-
You're listening to it.
Because it's sending off signals like the hairs in the back of your neck, your hairs in your arms are standing up. You're getting aroused, whatnot. So it is invoking a stimulus inside of you that makes you want to gravitate towards their purchase.
All right, so
13 inches.
13. That's right.
Wow.
13
Those
inches.
of you
Hear
in
that, Jack
college
Holes?
have a mattress topper. The bendy and stretchy elastic makes this fit perfectly still. And those of you with your own IKEA mattress will find that these sheets fit perfectly as well.
All right, so who came up with this idea?
It's been around for years. It's been around for a long time.
People are tweeting about it, saying, "Who is this woman? She, the Oddly IKEA advert is amazing. I want to subscribe to her."
Yeah, but you can't put their stuff together, so it's ridiculous.
There hasn't been. Oh, it's easy. Are you kidding? IKEA furniture, a piece of cake.
Well, that's look at yeah, but you're Mr. I can build anything.
Almost anything.
For those of you guys who don't know behind the scenes, Brad,
It's the production crew.
Yeah, he's
they
he's
are an
built this stuff.
amazing. It is an amazing crew of people that have
Mr.
put-
Humility is talking right now.
They say there hasn't been much research into ASMR, but people say they watch to relax, they watch to de-stress, they sleep better. Do you sleep with white noise? Do you sleep?
Yes,
with...
I have to have a fan on. I have
Okay,
to.
so something. Yeah, I don't understand how you can sleep without some
No.
form. So I can understand how this could make you sleep better. If I lay there in a bed at night in a quiet house, holy crap!
Let's be frank in PA. Stop playing ASMR recordings, or you're gonna have to finish Izzo off on air.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I've got
What do you
one.
think we do after the show?
Hang on, I got one for you. This where's this guy right here? Here's one just for Izzo. Are you ready? It's can you take this one up?
Can I take it
full, Isaac? Because this is I mean, look at that guy. He's pretty hot, right? He's
What is he doing?
he's brushing your stuff. I guess this is like, I don't know, brushing your stuff.
He's tickling. He's like tickling your stuff, little.
Yeah. So it's men and women. Although I don't know why it really matters if is that a
Is that a con? No, is that a condom?
No, it's a sanitary cleaner.
It
looks-
pack.
he's holding a little pack of it looks like a condom.
Idiot. Only fools use those.
What, sanitary cleaners?
No condoms.
So now is he putting it out there so you can smell it?
I don't know.
Oh no, he's rubbing it on the
It's the-
microphones.
Here's the deal. So this is think about this for a second. This is 10 hours of footage. So
10
not only does he have 10 hours, and do we have any idea the view count of the video?
It is. I will tell you, he has had not very many.
Okay.
Only 20,357,514.
And how many subscribers does he have?
Not many. 755,000.
Okay, so YouTube has demonetized
Wow.
anybody with a platform that talks about conservative stuff. That means this guy is probably making no joke, if that's the case, in the ballpark of minimum $5,000 a month.
Oh, easily.
yeah.
So
Just
so
off
he's
of YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's doing
Phenomenal.
that 10 hours. Oh my God. And that didn't look, I bet you it was 10 hours of unedited, which means there's something wrong with him.
It's the thing about this whole issue is I don't think it's new.
I think it goes all the way back to, gosh, what was it, 1981 or 82, when this commercial was on the air.
Whisper to me. If you want to capture someone's attention, whisper. Whisper to me. If you want to capture someone's attention, whisper with nuance.
Nuance as soft and as provocative as a whisper.
Nuance lasts.
Calvin Klein?
Nuance perfume.
Okay, by who? Bose. Oh, I'm looking. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was holy cow, that was Sean. What was her name? Sean.
Work through.
No,
You got this one.
She was
Come
an
on.
Ace Ventura pet detective. She was the detective.
Sean Young.
Yes, it's that was her.
In other words,
That was her.
This crazy lady.
That was her.
James Woods had to get a restraining order
He
against her.
is a womanizer.
She's crazy.
There you go.
But going back to the 1980s, it's not a new thing. It's the whispering thing. If you want to get somebody's attention, you whisper.
So do you remember the it was the Calvin Klein commercials, and they did a parody on it on Saturday Night Live with Phil Hartman. I alone knew her pleasure. I alone knew her pain. Obsession. That's what that stuff was. They've been doing this for a while. It's seduction. Think about every girl who has no game. She has no game whatsoever. So what does she do?
Turn down the lights.
Turns on the light, crawls across the bed, and she thinks she's gonna be like, I'm gonna please you, Daddy. You're never gonna meet another girl like me. Shut up. Shut up.
Isaac's
man.
smiling in there.
Isaac knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Is that something you're familiar with there, Isaac? I mean, he's not.
You got game?
For whatever reason, come on, Isaac.
I don't need to.
We're gonna make
voice
stuff
like
up.
that. I mean,
No, that's a
for
woman
girls,
doing
yes.
that.
Or
And
men, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're into.
I don't care.
I don't
You're from
care.
a different era too now. With men and women, you can't. You find a lot of your dates are done over texting.
Excuse me.
oh, I mean,
Setting the dates.
I like having the person-in-person communication,
Right.
rather than texting. So yeah.
And if a girl did that to you, Isaac, Daddy, do you like boobs?
I mean,
What would you think?
It'd probably be my first time. I don't know.
Okay, so how do you approach that? There we go.
What are girls like these days, Isaac? Are they fun?
I don't know. Like,
Come on.
They're crazy,
Come on,
aren't they?
Be honest.
Women
be
be
honest.
crazy.
Are they crazy?
they are crazy. And I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and you're how old again?
22.
Yeah, good luck. Doesn't get any easier.
20. Yeah. No. From this day forward, it just gets.
I was
harder.
22 years old when you were born, and they don't get any easier.
No, they really don't. And the other thing, Frank Draves, my auto shop teacher, used to
see, Mister, I remember everything.
Told my parents, Brad will do okay if he doesn't let these women get the best of him.
Why would you not want
bastard
that?
knew that.
Why
I mean,
would
all
I-
the way back then.
The only way you can do that is just take them out to eat because they're always hungry.
That's not a euphemism. Wait a minute. So hold. Let me back up there. So if you take a girl out to eat now, if you and like the most recent
Dating
day,
advice with Isaac?
Food solves everything. Just so you know.
What does?
Yeah,
Food does.
They're like that was in certain moods sometimes, and then the best way to resolve that is just like going to Chipotle or.
So you're the Chipotle.
puts him in the
say
mood.
it again. It's Chipotle. So you're the one doing the ASMR. Baby, you come to my house, okay? I know you're hungry. I know. I cook for you the one steak, and we go to the Chipotle. Then you come back to Isaac.
Where are you from, Isaac?
We make love on the
I'm from
carpet.
Guatemala.
From where?
Oh
Guatemala.
yeah. See, ladies love Isaac.
Is it true what they say about Guatemalan women?
About
Guatemalan women?
Women? Oh.
Guatemalan women?
What do they say about them?
Oh, you haven't heard?
Okay, no.
Uh-huh. Ron's right. Just say yes. It's going to be so much easier in the end.
Nah, no, I don't know.
All right. So on your last date, so when you go out with a girl, so they actually eat, because there was a time when like girls, it was like considered improper for women to eat, and you take them out on a date and they go, oh no, I'll just have a pea,
a salad.
I'll just take
I need a girl who can eat.
I need to know that the girl I need to know what she likes to eat, because then again we won't have any trouble like ordering stuff, because I hate having her taking stuff out of my plate.
Do you find as a 22-year-old guy that you've been demasculated, your generation? Like you can't be a man, or do you got to be a man? And look at
They certainly like implemented that into like these days with like this generation people that date, you certainly don't have to be like the very macho guy that takes care of everything, and yeah.
So do you think that it's gentlemanly to order for the woman, or do you let them order for you, or order for themselves? Rather,
They can order for themselves. They can order whatever they want.
As long as it's under $20.
Exactly.
Same as downtown.
We go to Chipotle and get the 2 for $20.
Honey, you
Chipotle,
can have
Chili's,
you
actually.
can have anything you want on the menu as long as it's $7.99 or less.
Exactly.
So you want to know when you take them out, you want to know what their appetites are. You want to see what they're going to eat. Do you order dessert?
Yeah, obviously, I try to be as spontaneous with like when it comes to that.
Spontaneity is key. So like a date after you go out to dinner? Is it like a movie? I mean, what's a typical date like these days?
It'll be movie, dinner, and then not coming after that.
No comment after.
No, excuse me. If you got to be a man, are you stealing that deal?
Well, but no. I mean, there's not.
I'll try to seal the deal.
There you go.
On the first date?
Yes.
For God's sake,
no,
man.
this is 2019.
It depends how do you play it. How do you play your cards?
Oh, so you're the one saying I'm not ready to give it up yet. You hold on that control, but I think we should take things slow.
Which, by the way, is a strategy.
It is a strategy,
and it works. I'm not saying I know that, but so I mean that's the deal these days. Is it like first date? There's not like an unwritten rule of you have to be have.
A lot of girls have that rule. Like they won't even kiss you on the first date or like hold your hand. So
they won't hold your hand on the first. Well, I guess you know what, I can see that. I can see it. It would be weirder to hold somebody's hand on the first date than it would be to kiss them.
I feel
that's
like
intimacy, though. That's building a connection. That's telling a girl right there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You hold hands. That's an intimate thing.
But that's what they did back in the 1950s when you guys went to like the
how
ice
like
cream
they wrap their
shops
arm around you, like around your arm and stuff like that. Let's say you go to the movies.
But like, baby, don't get too close. Don't get too attached.
That's kind of gentlemanly. If they put their arm in yours, that's kind of that's chivalrous.
Saddle tramp kicked in the face says, "I'm with Rants of Izzo like this. I like a woman who's unafraid to tie on the feed bag." That's right.
See, it doesn't bother me either way. I wouldn't care if they were eating a lot or eating
Shows
a little.
a good relaxed throat.
There is that. What was it? Oh, I was going to ask you. Oh, Isaac, what was it? It was important too. So it's first date, second date.
Are you going by bases?
Opening door? No. Opening the door. Do you do things like
I do
open
the chivalrous thing, like opening the door and stuff like that. I grew up with those ethics.
Yeah, so he's a class act.
Yeah, I mean
that gives you permission to be the caveman later on, because what he's doing is he's setting up. I'll open the door for you.
Right.
I will
offended, though.
I will pay for your dinner.
Aren't some?
It was more about having manners than just like taking charge on a date.
No, but tell me you do take charge later on.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this kid is cool. This kid is cool.
Some girls, has anyone, have any of the women that you've gone out with, have they been offended when you've opened the door for them?
Not at all. No. I guess I play really smooth. I'm like, hey, let me just get that for you.
Do you hear? Like, I pay this really smooth. That's right.
That's good.
That's right.
It's really much about how do you communicate with the girl, basically.
Good luck thinking that's always going to work. This will be fun.
Yeah, it is so precious that you do think that actually that you can communicate with. Oh, we might have to do this.
Stay honest and
So
do what you got to do.
When are you a good listener? So when they start talking, and by talking I mean
there's been times where I don't even pay attention. Like I'm more focused on other stuff.
There you go.
Focused on other
there you go.
stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you do. You hold the door open.
Right.
You invite them to dinner. You compliment them, and then you pull, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And later afterwards, that's when you.
I'm gonna rock your world right after. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
I'm thinking Isaac can write a book.
I think he's not afraid of the boobs.
The world has changed.
Not at all.
A little bit.
It gives me hope to hear that. The one thing I had said over the years is that this generation coming up is going to do is they're not going to understand the context of bridging the gap between a woman they haven't been attracted or they've attracted to without texting. So you remember, I remember, and Isaac, correct me if I'm wrong. Ron remembers, Patrick remembers. You can see the girl at the hot girl.
Yeah.
She's at the locker grocery store. You actually had to go talk to her, and you risked rejection. Today, what do? Send a text message, and they don't even have to respond.
Right.
and you don't get rejection.
And then what is the proper etiquette with that? If you send a girl
you
a
send them
text
50
now,
million more text messages, they respond. You get a restraining order.
Okay, that's the Izzo way. Now, Isaac, would you send after you send a text to a girl and she doesn't respond? Do you send another text to her? Do you keep?
No, I usually don't try.
Give her one shot.
Well, yeah, not. I like the longest I will ever wait for a reply.
Yeah.
Would probably be like 5 to 7 hours.
Then you're on to the next.
Damn.
You're on to the next honey, aren't you?
Wow.
No, it's because I mean some girls don't even pay attention. Like you had to approach the girl, and if the girl doesn't like really want anything with you, I guess.
Right.
I mean, there's no. I mean, you shoot your shot, and then.
Yeah, and if you don't make, but you're giving them 5 to 7 hours. I mean, it used to be you'd call a girl, you wanted to play a little hard to get, but they didn't call you. They gave you a couple. I haven't heard from her a couple days. That was back when phones were attached to.
You remember
walls,
that? You remember what was the rule when you got a girl's phone number? You waited 2 days to call.
Oh
her.
yeah, because otherwise you looked a little too eager.
I still use that rule too. Like if I get the phone number, I'll wait like 1 day, one or 2 days.
So he's blending the best of both worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe he is educating
smarter
us.
than he looks.
Oh.
There
You got that fantastic angle, man.
When I was in high school, I was driving. I lived in Lancaster,
Dinosaurs
California.
and color TV didn't come out yet.
Yeah, we had to. That was the worst part. Was dodging the dinosaurs as the brontosaurus took. I mean, they would crush you in a step. I was driving down near the high school. I think I was still in high school, 17, 18, and I see this girl in it was a Corvette. Really, it was a red car, and she was smoking hot, blonde hair flying in the wind. She was going the other way. And I turned the truck around, and I followed her.
Oh, so you were stalking her?
Pretty much, yeah. But
Can't do that today.
that
You
was
can't do
before.
that today.
Well, so I follow her down to a couple of streets. I mean, there were, not residential streets, but she pulls over. So I pulled over too. What the hell? She gets out of her car and she looks at me and she goes, "Are you following me?" I said, "Maybe." And she said, "My name's Ginger."
Oh.
And I said,
you pulled the, where's Marianne? You pulled that line, didn't you?
Yeah. I've always been a ginger guy.
Yeah.
And I, of course, told her my name. I said, "I'm Luke," just in case. You can't be too careful. But she ended up being, she says, "Well, she was smoking hot." She said, "Well, let me give you a little something here." By a little something, I mean, she opened the trunk of her car and pulled out a bottle of Bikini Cola. She was the Bikini Cola model. And if you can still to this day, I think you can find, just do
I'm doing a little ginger
Google
Bikini
search.
Cola. Yeah.
Ginger Miller Bikini Cola.
Oh my God.
And she was an attractive woman, and she was an aspiring actress.
Well, there's a Ginger Miller on IMDb. So she was an actress.
Yes, she was.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Holy shit.
That would be the Ginger Miller that
was this 80s?
This was it would have been 1981.
This is the typical 80s blonde that you wanted to see in the movie, like those B movies, like about skiing or something. You're on the ski slopes, and she's the ski bunny that just only wearing a bikini on the ski slope.
Girls.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, she's very Baywatch-ish.
Oh yeah, here, check this out.
She's an attractive woman.
Wow.
Yeah, I know,
we
right?
gotta look for more. There's video.
Oh yeah, there's video. She had like I said, she had I would call it
was Luke.
Oh my God.
She had a brief career in films.
I'm sure.
What kind? Yes.
Okay.
That kind. But she's like I said, that was an interesting. Those were the days when you could actually chase somebody down on the street.
Holy crap! You guys can go to YouTube.
You found her films, did
Bikini Girl, Ginger Miller. It's YouTube, so it's safe. Oh my God!
That would be the.
There's a lot of mullets in this video, by the way.
Yeah, it was the early '80s. It was a different time. It was a different place. But that was my experience chasing down a girl on the streets. Back in the day when they'd actually pull over for you.
She was in Stag Party, Foxy Boxing, Bunny's Tail, Wild Bikinis, Best Chest in the West.
Yeah.
Oh, The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Babe Watch.
Yeah.
Wild Pool Parties. Penthouse 25th anniversary. Pet of the Year Spectacular. Beach, Beverly Hills, and
which one?
The Many Loves of Jennifer.
Did she?
She's credited as the dancer.
I don't know how good. I don't know how good an actress she was. Hey Isaac, can you pull my screen up? That is Ginger Miller on the front on the can of a can of Bikini Cola right there.
Yeah, sure was.
She was an interesting girl, very interesting girl. I'll leave it right there. It's the good old days where I could whisper to you.
Yeah, no, please don't right now, because it's really based on what I'm seeing visually and then hearing your voice. It's really I'm gonna need therapy.
Let me see. Hold on a second.
Or I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
I guess that doesn't seem very relaxing, but whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I think we all should take just a moment or two to just a moment of silence for Sean Milliken. Sean Milliken, he was the star of My 600-Pound Life.
Oh, boy.
He died. He was 29 years old.
Shocking.
My 600-Pound Life. Have you ever watched any of those?
I have, and you know what? I have a level of empathy, but then again, too,
the people that bring them food.
That's the problem.
You're killing them.
I get it. I get it. It is
It's a train wreck. It is a car accident. It's a dumpster fire.
Depression in these circumstances is massively real.
Absolutely.
Every person's got. When you are in a position where you are 500-600 pounds. You are self-loathing, and the only thing that gives you pleasure is food. Well, you know what? And like I said, I'd handle death differently than everyone else. At least he's not suffering anymore.
Right.
And at least he's not dealing with whatever personal hatred that he's got for himself.
He was up to 900 pounds.
Wow, the smell.
In Houston before he...
the smell.
Before he lost. Yeah. And yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't. There's no self-hygiene. It is... the fact it's almost abuse to put these, I would classify it as abuse to put these people on television. And maybe it's the only way that they can make money enough to live.
Mm-hmm. Because it is a morbid fascination.
It is just 29 years old, 600 pounds. Your heart can't keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do yourself a favor. I'm not suggesting that you would ever get to 600 pounds.
Keep eating the way I do, I will.
But try Riduzone. Go to riduzone.com. Find out how that little tiny molecule, OEA, which is natural in the human body to begin with. You find it a lot in the Mediterranean diet. What Riduzone does for you is it helps your body manufacture more of this. It can keep down hunger cravings. It can speed up your metabolism. It can do a lot of things. Just go to Riduzone, RIDUZone.com. And if your brain is in the right place, again, there's no magic bullet. If your brain's in the right place and you're ready to lose weight, Riduzone could be that little secret weapon you've been looking for. Riduzone.com. Yeah, when I see stories like this, it just and there was a woman. Remember the woman Lulu, whatever her name was,
from the pageant girl. Sheila, the mom?
No. There was it was another show on TLC. It was I can't remember. It was her first name.
I don't know. I'm not gay. I don't watch the channel.
There's nothing wrong with it, even if you were. People would bring her pizzas and all. And that's like handing somebody a loaded gun.
There are women who do webcam stuff. That, and men love it, and they get off on it.
Saw that on Dr. Phil.
Oh,
I watch that sometimes.
That's not wrong.
Dr. Phil.
I'm okay with that.
Isaac's in there shaking his head. All right, that's enough of the depressing talk. It looks like that is the end of your Daily Mojo for Thursday. Tomorrow,
see ya.
We got Friday leftovers coming up. Don't miss a minute of it. Doc Thompson's Daily Mojo.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Chicago police about to hold a news conference on the case of Jussie Smollett, the Empire actor charged with